Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show.
What the? Already?
I was just there. I heard the music. I'm just doing my thing, and then I don't know what happened. What happened, Vet?
We already got wrecked. After the collision, we sift through the wreckage. All right. And Jimmy T. I'm your host, Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And with us, joining us today is the most magnanimous, most glorious Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz. Gentlemen, good morning.
You know, the opening montage of the wreckage, and then Jimmy T, you just go off the air. Look at my background. What the hell? What the fuck?
Dude, I don't know what happened. As soon as I said when we wake up, I was going to say, because it was a WrestleDream, we sift through the wreckage, and for whatever reason, it put me back to sleep. It's still a dream, damn it.
It was all the dream.
Yeah. At least though, my computer didn't crash, and that's what matters most. It was just my browser, for whatever reason, crashed. But it doesn't matter. We're here though, boys. And you know what, Vet? That was a great introduction. I actually like that.
Thanks. I got it from Jimmy T.
No, but the way you said Chabelo Vera Cruz was really good. I like it. Well, anyway, we are here to sift through quite a bit of wreckage, as a matter of fact. And boys, I mean, it has been a pretty busy week in professional wrestling, of course. As I say, Prof, you gave me the hint earlier before when you were saying you're looking forward to us talking about WrestleDream. And I said, what the hell? You might as well join us to talk WrestleDream. And you know what? I'll say this before we really get into it. It wasn't that bad, but then again, it got pretty silly towards the end. But that's just me.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. I mean, be honest with me. Be honest with the, all the Haminites out there. How many beers were you drinking watching WrestleDream? Because for you to even start that sentence saying it wasn't that bad, you must have been drinking some Australian ale. What? Come on, I'm just saying.
Foster's.
Foster's.
No, definitely not Foster's. That's for sure. Like I tell you, mofos, a million times, we don't drink that shit here. But no, look, man, I thought it started off pretty strong. That's all I'm going to say. But we'll wait till we get to the the wake me up before we go to the dream. Obviously,
I will say this, Jimmy. I will say there is something good we could talk about for WrestleDream, just for a second, guys, and for the Haminites out there. The one thing. My childhood innocence is back because Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus was in St. Louis last night, and he was in a black leather jacket, face painted up, holding a bat. Santa Claus exists, guys. It's real. Christmas is real. That's all I'm going to say. That's a spoiler alert.
That is a spoiler alert, but God damn it. What does this mean? I have no idea. It probably means nothing. But we'll get to that when we do talk about it. But let's get into some news, shall we? I mean, well, look, I don't want to give it a spoiler, but fuck it. I'll wait till later. But what about
no WrestleDream news?
Okay, no WrestleDream
other news.
I won't go there. But what would I want to ask you, Vet? How do you feel about Ilya Dragunov coming back and right away becomes your new
United States champion, I suppose, is what he was going to say.
Absolutely.
Having not watched SmackDown, but just hearing about it, I guess, I don't care. And I don't think I would care any more or less if I had watched it. That's not a knock on Dragunov. It's not a knock on Sami Zayn. It's not a knock on the WWE. It's just like, at this point, I'm too jaded to be actually commenting seriously about title changes. No, unless it's like a monumental, critical error, like putting the belt on Hangman, for example, something like that.
I think what Jimmy is trying to say, I don't want to put words in his mouth before he crashes again, but I think he's trying to say that this Sami Zayn open challenge, maybe to Jimmy and maybe to a lot of Haminites, was kind of positive. I think people were excited to see how WWE or maybe ChatGPT or AI booking was doing the U.S. Open Challenge. And by the time it got to Ilya Dragunov, what could you do with Dragunov, Vet, right? He was gone for a year. I think he blew out his knee and all that stuff. So he came back, over the odds and all that stuff. Yes, that is the point. But then I think that the question remains. I know you didn't care about the match, probably to a degree.
I just didn't see it. That's all.
No, I know. Again, the optics says, okay, he's the new U.S. champion. So what are you going to do with him? Because again, the problem with open challenges is it doesn't work for everybody. It worked for John Cena doing an open challenge. It was great. And Sami Zayn, he got the torch from John Cena saying, yes, I bequeath you to do this concept. Okay, Dragunov won. So is he going to do the concept again? Because then that's overkill. That just becomes monotonous. That's pointless. Not everybody deserves that open challenge kind of booking, quote unquote. So what say you, Bet, about that?
So you're right about that. In actuality, the idea of an open challenge fits something that we haven't had or seen in a meaningful company in a long, long time, which is a television championship. Like if you're telling me your gimmick is I'm going to open this up, then that is kind of the whole gimmick of a TV championship. You have a limited time limit. You're expected to defend it on TV every week. It's an exciting draw to the viewers of the show. Like the show may suck, but at least there might be one surprise, like something that's interesting. It's an attraction. The United States Championship really doesn't mean that much on its own. Like you said, it's associated with the open challenge because of John Cena. It doesn't work for everybody. What do you do with the Dragunov? I guess whatever you do with whoever the Intercontinental Champion is. Who is it? I forgot. Oh, Dominic Mysterio. So he just has that belt just so that you can say he has a belt. It doesn't really matter. There's really no identity associated with that middle tier belt. It's just, you give it to Dirty Dom so you could say he has something. So you could say he has, some worth. But as far as Dragunov goes, I think that was, for all we know, they could have just known Dragunov's about to come back. Maybe that's why they gave it to Sami in the first place, knowing that he would be back soon. So they could be like, well, this is what we want to do with him. So we'll give this to Sami now to try to put a little meaning on it. We'll tie that into John Cena because it's convenient and, the stars aligned, and then let's do that. So they may have already been thinking about doing this longer ago. It's not like Dragunov just showed up with his bags that night, was like, I'm cleared. They knew, right? You'd have to know ahead of time, okay, how do we bring this guy back? So that could have been the whole reason for instituting an open challenge and putting the belt on Sami in the first place, is just so that he could give the shine to Dragunov and move on to whatever they have next for him.
Well, I've got a good segue. Who do you think booked this match? Was it AI or was it Triple H? Prof, I'll ask you first. Could it possibly be AI just randomly said Dragunov is back from injury and here we are, your new US champion? Is that a possibility, you think? Is that even true? Or is the rumors just going crazy?
Well, you know what, Jimmy? I can answer this in a different way. Not for Triple H and not for Tony Khan, but just reality right now, Jimmy. Because what does a society like us do right now, especially on X, Twitter, or Facebook? When we all have debates and stuff like that, we go to Grok, we go to ChatGPT just to get the answer. We don't want to do the light work. We have to have Grok to do our light work to get the answer for our benefit. So like you're saying, is this an AI booking? Is this ChatGPT booking? I'm not surprised if it is, because supposedly Triple H is busy in Washington, D.C. making America healthy again, and that's a different story for another day. So if he's using AI for that purpose and on Zoom meetings, then God bless him. But again, with the open challenge concept, it writes itself. And Vet eloquently just said that this might have been used to have Dragunov come after all this time, after all these defenses. The only thing I would retort back to Vet is I didn't hear a pop for Dragunov to a degree. I wasn't. I'm looking at the crowd. People, the Marktards, on Twitter could say, "Oh shit, Dragunov's back. Oh shit, this was a banger match." So what? I'm looking at the TV. I'm looking at the crowd. I'm looking at it business-wise, vet. Did it pop the ratings? Probably not. Did it shoot up? Probably not. So again, this was for a niche audience to say, "Oh shit, Dragunov's back." But then what? Like I will keep saying to you guys and to the people in the chat, what's it going to do in the future for Dragunov as the U.S. champion? What stories are you going to build to him? Is he going to behold the open challenge syndrome? That's it. I'm all about the bottom line and the money.
Well, I guess what you shouldn't do is ask AI what to do next with Dragunov. That's what you for sure should do. But I believe that the idea, one of the reasons that you would do this, it actually because of your point, is exactly why you do it. Dragunov needs an injection of something besides what he's already been injecting his whole career. But I'm just saying, like, how do we give him a little springboard? How do we give him the Sin Cara, How do we give him that little Sin Cara on the outside of the ring to kind of get him back? Because people, they aren't going to care when he shows up. No pop, as Roman Reigns. Exactly. No pop. So he comes out, Dragunov, I kind of remember that guy, because he was barely getting established when he got hurt. Nothing meaningful at that point in time. So what do? You bring him back, and it's kind of like, they might have expected that. But with the win, now it's like, oh, okay. So it's not just another guy to lose to Sami Zayn. That's like a little hot-shotting. So I see the logic in it. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but you have to try things. I think there's a lot of stuff that gets tried that there's a reason why you don't try it. This is sort of like a tried and true thing that you can try with this person. But it very well could have just been an AI idea. It could have just been something that they just put into the whatever their chosen platform is and just said, "Oh, Dragunov, yeah, sure, why not?"
Let me ask a question, because again, with 15 months, I forgot about Dragunov, guys. Could you just clarify this? Does he speak good English?
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah,
very, very good. Okay, so
very
then
good English.
So at least then, maybe with the U.S. Championship, maybe you could change his character a little bit. I think that's what it needs. I think he needs a character change. Maybe it could be a little bit pompous. Because again, I see when he comes in the ring, he kind of like does the orchestra kind of thing, leads the crowd and stuff like that. But I think maybe it's just his character to me that is just missing something. Maybe if you can kind of turn him into a dick, because he has that facial features to me. That's the way I see it.
Oh, I agree. Go for it, Vet.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, he speaks about as good English as what's his name, Ludwig
Walter.
Marcel.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like, an accent.
They're both German. I mean, he was Russian, but he grew up in Germany, so he's basically German. Right. So, well, yeah, whatever. But yeah, he's a madman. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with that fucker. He's like Kyle Fletcher. He's just gonna hurt you. Like I don't know what he's like. It'd be like wrestling a Tasmanian devil. I just don't want any of that. As a worker, like I look at his matches, I'm like, fuck that. I ain't getting in there with him. And so like now he's everybody else's problem they got to deal with. But he doesn't really have a character, like he doesn't. Yeah, and Alexa's right. Germany is cool.
She's from Deutschland, so hello, Alexa from Germany. Yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a character. He's just kind of, what do the kids say? A lot? I don't know. That's basically the best way I could describe him. I don't really get what his character is. I never did. Not from NXT UK, not from NXT America, not from WWE Raw, and not from WWE SmackDown. He's just some crazy guy that goes out there.
Right. I don't think he had a character, because the only character, even from NXT UK, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, was his wars with Gunther. So that's where everybody
the German Indies.
Right. It goes back to that. And then since both of them are in different shows, you're not going to get Dragunov versus Gunther unless Gunther's coming to SmackDown. So it is what it is. So we'll see.
Wild card, bitches.
There you go.
Yeah. Super show, bitches.
Now on the AI tip, just one couple of things. As Cold Blooded mentioned earlier, and I pointed out, I don't know what they're doing now, but I definitely about, I don't know, how long it's been, 6 months, 9 months, a year. It feels like over a year. When Ray and I were doing the Next Level Wrestling review, one of those episodes, I came out on the live on the Next Level show and was like, I swear to God, this episode was written by AI. I can just tell there's just a way, there's just a phoniness that's beyond the normal phoniness of wrestling. Like, it was just so weird, like slightly off. Everybody was saying things that I'm just like, and it was right at the point where this AI was starting to become available to everybody and catching on, right? So like, we had the chat GPTs was just starting to be a thing that people were becoming water cooler talk. Like, oh, you see this on, people are just doing this now. And right around that time, I could definitely see somebody in the NXT office be like, just for fun, let's do an episode. Let's just have AI write an episode and see, you know what I mean? And the reason I continue to believe it is because after that, and maybe the next week, possibly, it never was like that again. It went back to just being normal bad. It wasn't AI bad. It was just regular bad. And it's been that way ever since. So if shows really are starting to get written by AI, I'll probably be able to tell. So I will be the one to watch out for you guys and let you know if anything is suspicious. But that's one thing.
I stand behind Hollywood writers in the WWE. Don't let them lose their jobs for mediocrity. I want human mediocrity, not AI mediocrity.
Yes, it's it's like when you get the copy of a copy of a copy, the degradation just, So the other thing is, please, and this message is for, maybe just a Tennessee couponer or anybody else, like, please do me a favor. If you love me, please do not tag me with that AI slop. Like the Martin Luther Kings and the Tupac and all that. Just leave my off that list, please. I don't want to see anything like that. This stuff is an abomination to me. Like, it's embarrassing. It's cringe. I won't watch it. I will scroll past it. I'm not going to partake in it. So just don't even bother.
Sorry. Let me delete sending opinion. Okay. I just
thank you. Appreciate that. You got appreciate that. Yeah, never tag me in AI slop ever, please. That Big Ray Hernandez shit, that's too much. Don't do that.
Oh my God, you see that, bro?
I saw that it exists and I scrolled past it. Don't.
You did.
Do not leave me off.
That was crazy, bro. I don't know who did that. If that was Ray,
Ray did it, dude. Of course, Ray did it. Who the fuck else would make something out of Ray Hernandez?
That's true. Maybe I thought Colin, but the way he was talking about Colin was funny. But anyway, yeah, I agree though, man. AI is dead
you realize, Jimmy, and that people use AI for two reasons: for themselves and something sexual. That's it.
So that's really just one reason.
Yeah, but you know what? I do think in the coming sort of months, I think it'll be quicker than later, or sooner than later. There's going to be all sorts of restrictions on it, man. There's no way we're going to be able to do what we're seeing right now in the future, because it's going to cause all sorts of lawsuits and all sorts of crap, man. So
please, I've never begged for anybody to sue people in my life. Like, just please, everybody, the estate of Dr. King, please start suing everybody. Please start suing.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen, man. Especially for music. Music is scary, bro, because now it comes out really good, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, but Brad, I am taking over. But yeah, no, and it's freaky. You shouldn't be able to have that sort of power, because it's going to destroy everything on television, including movies, the wrestling. Imagine you booking whatever you want, right?
James Cameron warned us in 1984, and we still went to the direction of AI, and we still go into the direction of AI. That's it. You want the money, you want the power, but you don't want the responsibilities, and it will just keep going like this way. And we're laughing at this with like the Big Ray AI stuff. We're laughing at this with Martin Luther King, and that's right. We should be angry,
crazy, bro,
but the problem with AI right now is that's the entertainment value of that. But then remember, AI is going to we already seen this, guys. AI is being used for mind manipulation, is being used for misinformation. Someone could just do an AI of someone shooting somebody killing somebody, somebody extorting somebody, and all that stuff,
dude.
and you just don't
They're
know
gonna
if it's
fool us
real.
like that, dude.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're gonna do. 100%. And that's why, like the Charlie Kirk stuff. I don't want to talk about it.
And Jimmy, and I think AI was the reason for bad dirt sheet news on Jacob Fatu too. I'm just saying.
Probably. I mean, shit. And apparently the Survivor Series card, got leaked out, for example, right? Thanks to Uncle Dave Meltzer, where he's putting all these things on the line to make sure he's right. And I think I'm going to call bullshit. Anyway, so I'm not even going to ask you guys about that. But in other news, though, let's get away from the AI stuff. As we all know, Britt Baker has been absent from AEW since, this past November. And during her time away from AEW, Baker has been keeping in physical shape for a potential return, while reports of her trying to get out of her contract to join WWE were debunked. Dave Meltzer reported earlier this week that Baker recently removes all references to AEW from her social media account. I saw that for myself also here, Vet, and I see you laughing about it.
Because the first thing that popped to my mind is she's still out for a while, going to be out for a while because she has to work on Jacob Fatu's teeth. I'm sorry. I popped myself.
That's why he's out till 2026.
That's right. He's out. Baker's out. They're gonna be holed up somewhere getting this done.
Jeez, we preach.
Undisclosed location too.
A local medical facility. A local dental facility.
Shit, man. Ow.
Okay. They gotta fly Britain on the WWE private jet for this thing.
Well, in all seriousness, boys, what does this mean? Is she gone from AEW? Is she on her way out? Or, is she coming to WWE to fix Jacob Fatu's teeth? I mean, what's going on? Vet, I'm going to ask you first.
Me first? Who cares? We're not topping this. like we're gonna sit here and actually have a serious conversation about fucking Britt Baker now. Nobody cares about Britt Baker. She's completely unnecessary in the world of wrestling. Bless her heart. Next topic.
Jesus. Sorry, Britt.
I'll say this quickly for the chat. The Hippocratic oath for Britt Baker is to fix Jacob Fatu's teeth. So that's under that contract. But she is under an AEW contract, so she's having the time of her life, just doing one thing and not hurting her body. So that's the thing that's funny. She don't have to be in catering, but she's still getting paid. That's part of the process. She's not needed. It is what it is.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, let's get to actual releases. And apparently for the reason why Wes Lee got his WWE release early in the week.
Because he sucks?
As noted, sorry, Vet, what'd you say?
Because he sucks?
Well, get this.
I thought it was
actually,
the cheat too. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, we'll get this. As we noted, last week, NXT talent Wes Lee, real name Devon Atchins, if that's how you pronounce it, was released from WWE last Friday as part of a larger batch of talent releases. Meltzer reported in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that the reason for Lee's release was due to WWE officials had felt that after 5 years in their developmental system, they were never going to use him on the main roster. And that's the reason. I actually believe that, as a matter of fact. I don't think they were ever going to bring him up. Vet, what do you think?
Well, I mean, for what I think, you could refer to my last however long coverage of his career in NXT.
Yeah,
every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. I told you why. And nobody listened, including Big Ray.
Well,
Big Ray right. Talking about, I love the kid, man.
I heard that.
Just whatever. I told everybody. And that doesn't mean that, the WWE is geniuses and they agree with me and they're always right. It just means at the very least a broken clock is right twice a day. And you saw what you may have seen, what I seen, how there is no future. Whatever Shawn Michaels thought he saw or wanted to try to get over or try to push this guy, down our throats with this ridiculous North American title run where he's just cleanly beating guys like, Dijak and whoever else 3 times his size. Like, but it's not even that. It's just about how you do it. It's not like you can't have a small guy. It's the fact that this small guy brings nothing to the table, not marketable in any way. No, like small, but no real size, no real physique to speak of, stupid prison tattoos, little beady eyes, like a stupid haircut that turned into another stupid haircut. No charisma. The moves that he does are the same as what everybody else does. We got 100 Wes Lees in the business that are better than him at what he does. And the only thing that he ever got over doing was a parody of a shitty sitcom. Like, that's it. And he's going to go back to doing that now because a release isn't just so long. It's just see you later. So you just go to TNA now and the Rascals are back. Desmond Xavier once again. That's his silver lining. Like, you'll always have a home right here at this bullshit company. So that's where I'm at with Wes Lee. And apparently WWE agreed after a point.
That's why I laughed.
But like I said, this is what I keep telling you guys. You're all 5 years behind me. I'm talking about everyone here, everyone, and it's not an insult. I'm just saying I have factual timelines to back this up. Like, I told everybody about Walter. I told everybody about Stephanie Vaquer. I told everybody about Julia. I told everybody about, take your pick of all the people that I said.
Way ahead of time.
Oh, Cappuccino Jones off of 8x10. Like, I'm just saying, like, I told you guys this. Anywhere from 3 to 5 years is my window of being ahead of where everybody else finally catches up to what I see. I don't need the amount of time it takes other people. So Wes Lee, I seen this guy in TNA or Impact back then doing his thing. I'm like, these 3 guys are useless. I have no use for them. 2 of them get signed to WWE, and I'm like, really, you again? And nothing happened. The fucking guy got fired for having a Hitler mustache, like a dumbass. That just tells you, like, you don't know how to play ball. You don't know the game. Your social media mistakes are costing you and other people, in fact. The same thing I said when, what's his name? Javon Evans tweeted at Ricochet like a moron and everybody at the Performance Center had to take a social media class.
That was funny.
I'm just telling you, I tell you guys, all you guys can catch up with me eventually, but you will get there. You will all get there. And WWE finally got there with this kid, this old ass kid. And here we are.
Is he in his 30s yet, Vet?
Should be.
I think so.
Shit. He's an old ass
late
kid.
20s, early 30s, so should be. I think, Jimmy, I'll say this quickly
no, go for it.
To eloquently exacerbate Vet's point. It's just like, I think fundamentally the community has got to remember that just because you got, let's say, a WWE ID contract, just because you're in NXT at the Performance Center, does not guarantee you're going to go to the main roster. There's levels to this. So by the time there's levels to this, when you're in NXT, that means you have to work triple harder to apply your craft, get notice, separate yourself from the bunch. So this way, Triple H and Road Dogg and shit like that will call you to go to the main roster. It doesn't work like just because you're on NXT for 5 years, just like Vet said that Wes Lee was. Okay, he had a North American title run. Okay, cool. He had nice banger matches. Cool. What separated him from the bunch? Nothing. Because Javon Evans has been on SmackDown more times than Wes Lee ever in his 5-year run. So that tells me, and that tells everybody else, that Javon Evans has separated himself even from Wes Lee. That's it. You just got to do something that separates yourself from the bunch. There is 100 Wes Lees in the Indies. There's actually 20 Wes Lees in the NXT roster in the Performance Center. So you got to separate yourself. How do you do that, guys? Charisma, promos, separate your character from the bunch. That's it.
Wesley went I blame Shawn Michaels for this, because you could see, again, if you know how to, as the great genius Stevie Ray says, if you know how to read the tea leaves, okay, you can see the patterns. When they don't know how to get somebody over as a babyface, they make them cry and tell a story about how hard they've had it. And Wesley did that. Still no charisma. It doesn't matter. There is no hope for you people. And just listening to Shawn Michaels tell you to cry is not going to save your job eventually. You know what I mean? It's because it's ultimately not his call. Like, it doesn't matter how much Shawn loves you. That's only going to get you so far if you're that far behind everybody else. I mean, if Shawn loves somebody that's got it, that's great. You know, they'll go somewhere. Apparently he loves Javon Evans. But even if Javon Evans is better than Wesley in every single metric, but even if he's just taller, that's more than Wesley has to offer. You could kick him to the curb. We don't need two of you guys, because this guy's already better than you at everything, and he's like 16 years younger than you. So whatever.
Jeez. Well, Aaron Ben Schlemmer in the chat goes, Vic, you also told people about Jay White. The problem is that AEW killed him.
Yeah, I would have been right about that. If it weren't for those meddling kids.
I think, is he even still injured, Vet, you think, at this point? He should be ready by now, right?
I think he's going to help out Britt Baker. Like, he's going to hand her the scraper and all this stuff too, while he's not too busy.
That sucks, man. That's so sad. But anyway, Vet, do you have anything to say about
I will say this, because Cold Blooded reminded me, the best thing about Wesley ever is nothing that he did, but is actually me. Because I named his finisher this, because we always talk about guys doing flips and stuff, and his move, the cardiac kick, is him literally just doing a flip, and he hits you with his feet, and it's like the guy goes down and takes a 3 count. So the best thing ever about Wesley was me naming his move for him, and that isn't even real. It was just a joke I had.
Well, speaking of jokes, kind of, well, for me anyway, apparently the Inspirations TNA contracts have expired and are currently working without contracts. Vet, I'll go to you again because you're the resident, TNA guy here. Are they worth keeping around at this point? I think their voice sucks, me personally. Not because they're Australian. I've just never been into them. Are they worth anything to either TNA or maybe possibly going back to WWE?
You don't remember what Vet said about the Inspiration 5 years ago? He said it already. It's 5 years later.
Yeah, he wasn't really a fan of them ever too, but
yes, I was.
Point, you weren't. No, you weren't.
Yes, I was. No, you're confusing me with you. Don't ever do that. With all due respect. No, is the Inspiration worth keeping? Yes, they're languishing and they're useless in TNA. They should definitely be back on Raw or SmackDown. They're more entertaining than almost anybody that's already there, in their own way. Because the only person that's doing what they do is Chelsea, but even she is doing it in a different way. She's doing it with a different flavor. They're a different kind of comedy. So I think there's definitely room for the Inspiration. They're a fun team. They're an attraction team. They don't work like anybody else. You could stick them in any scene and liven it up. They'd be perfect people to pitch products, which is all the WWE is about now. It's like, just, yes. What are you doing wasting your time in that closet called TNA? Get these girls some money. But maybe because they're both moms now, maybe TNA was an attractive option to stay active, but not as on the road, Right. Like you're able to work less and still be active. So I think that could be a big part of it. And that's another thing that fans don't really take into account in some of these things. Like some of these things are like, we look at it as like a downgrade or slumming it, but it's really like of convenience, So if they, for example, if they saved all their WWE money and now they just get this TNA check and that's good enough, then they're probably doing fine and they get to work. But if they don't care about going on the road, which even what's the road in WWE anymore these days? True. Can't be that different than TNA, really. Sure. So
actually, Vet, I don't mean to interrupt you, but WWE has added more house shows, especially in November.
They have.
So they are doing that now. I think they're seeing I don't want to say the error of their ways on that stuff, but TKO has got to understand that you need to apply your craft a little bit more and make a little bit more money. It's all about the money.
They're also seeing the errors of the performers in the ring every time they fuck everything up. Oh man!
But you're right about the inspiration again with both of them being moms and stuff like that. Both of them on Instagram and TikTok, so they can supplement income in various ways. So, is it a necessity for them to go back to the main roster? No. Maybe they can be a necessity for the NXT and the Performance Center because again, they've done that. They could be in one locale and do the same thing. I think the main roster is I don't want to say beneath them. It's just not a priority for them. But I think NXT would be a nice place for them to hone that comedy, like you said.
Wow. That's a big endorsement. I would.
Here's the reason I would that I would like if I'm working for WWE, like in the office, the reason I'm advocating for the inspiration is because we don't have that. Like, is there even one woman's tag team that's a tag team, not just
Raquel
two people put together?
Roxanne.
They're two people put together.
True, but they've become, I think, a team.
Nope.
But yeah, you're right.
Sorry,
you're right.
They don't even have a name. They're Judgment Day.
Yeah, the inspiration is really that conglomerate right there. They're a real tag team.
True.
So even just having that, having somebody that's a dedicated tag team kind of means something, and we need more of that. But there aren't many. There are hardly any that exist. Every woman is just two women slapped together. Like every woman's team is two women slapped together, and that's fine. But it kind of is silly to think that you need a tag team division if you don't have anybody that's even in a kayfabe sense volunteering to be a team for your company. So that would give them right off the bat something different. We have two women who are a team with a team name, and they're Australian and they're funny and they can do whatever. They can work any kind of match. They can be serious in a match if they want, but they're actually more serious as baby faces than they are as heels. So whichever way you have them work, you get a different match out of them. That's why they're so, and when they're heels, the fact that they kind of suck in the ring at times mechanically works to their advantage because it gets them heat because it's like, man, you girls aren't even good enough to be in here competing, So it's like, it all works if they're heels, but as baby faces, people overlook that just like they overlook Jey Uso's work and stuff like that because he has a catchphrase and he's kind of over. So that's what I would advocate for if I'm, But we gotta do we have any real news? Because this is kind of dragging on a bit.
Well, I wanted to get into. I know there's a lot. That's another thing. Do you guys want to talk about the Vince McMahon incident in court, or just forget that? Anyone got anything to say about that?
I don't.
Is he going to jail?
No.
Move on.
He's not. All right. And do you guys want to talk about Andrade's possible 1 year no compete clause? I don't know how true this is. Is there any truth to this, guys? If you just want to touch on it, if not, we can just move on.
Read the fine print. Read the fine print of your contract. Make sure your lawyers look at everything, because if you thought that you had a loophole, then you're dumb. That was the thing. If Andrade thought I should fail some drug tests or wellness policies, and that's my exit out of the 90-day no compete clause, that's being an idiot. Because again, that it's in your contract no matter what. There's no loopholes out of the 90-day no compete clause. You can try and find this loophole language. It just doesn't exist. So now if he's going to be out for a year, that's on him. He will fight it in court. He'll fight it in arbitrary and stuff like that.
You think so?
And maybe they'll settle. If it's not a year, it'll probably be 6 months. But that's a win for Andrade but there's still a lot of time. But that's a win for Andrade because he cut it down to half.
Right. That's true. Vet, anything to say about that before we move on to, sifting through the wreckage?
You can't legally prevent somebody from working for a full year. I don't care what your contract says. If the WWE, if this is any kind of real and this goes to court, there's no chance that WWE can get that upheld. And they don't want to. They just want to make people's lives miserable because they're petty like that.
That's true, and which they've always have been. Labrat says, how could TK fumble a contract? He's the master of NDAs and contracts. It's true.
Huh?
But it's because he runs this company on his own. Unlike the football teams where he's got other people handling that shit. Really. This is why he fucks up. But anyway, like the artist says, hitting the note spot on. Well, in saying that, let's put our gloves on, fellas, because it's time we sift through that wreckage. And there's quite a bit of it. Because I hated this week's shows just quietly, man. Dynamite, Collision, they can all just get effed right now.
All right. Well,
that's how I feel.
that's
a big tone shift from how you started. So I guess they did something right going into
WrestleDream was a lot better than
going into
crap,
WrestleDream.
Put it that way. It was a lot better than that.
All right. So Renee sits down and eventually strips down with Statlander and Toni Storm. Of course, there's no physicality here. They agreed to no physicality, but it's actually a multi-camera shoot. We actually have coverage on this, so we get to change cameras, depending on who's talking. And then because there's no physicality involved in the interview, they just go out to the ring for their physicality. And then they have physicality. And then Toni looks like she's going to, as Bobby Heenan would say, waffle Statlander with the belt. But she just gives it to her and gives her a nice little kiss on the head.
Oh, isn't that nice? I mean, seriously.
That's the kind of physicality I can get behind.
Yeah.
This is the go home angle to get to WrestleDream. Wake me up if it's not a dream or something like that. I'm just saying.
That's the one.
We used to read Word Up magazine to play off what you said earlier.
But again, I'll look at it this way and I'll be quick about it. But you're trying to build up Kris Statlander as a legit AEW Women's World Champion. She's been there. She's one of those day one AEW women there on the TV all year. And Toni Storm, because I'll get into this with WrestleDream. I'm just trying to say this right now, that this is the way we're building to this. What are we doing here? Was Toni Storm, upset? She wanted. She said in the I think it was this one or last week, I felt freedom losing the title. Right? That's what she said. I felt a sort of freedom. But now, after maybe a week or a couple of days of thinking about it, maybe she got trolled on Twitter. Oh, I need that title back. Isn't that kind of heelish? I don't know. What is that?
Who knows anymore, Prof? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
seriously, who knows?
I certainly don't know. The only thing I can say is, on the one hand, to build up one championship match, you're setting guys on fire. So I guess we need to balance it out the other direction.
Yeah,
we have to go so boring that we can't even have anything to say about it in a review. So Little Brooks Jensen is I'm not even asking Jimmy what he thinks. Little Brooks Jensen is carving a block of wood into nothing because this motherfucker probably can't carve or whittle or anything else. No wood shop. They probably took that out of schools before he even got to high school. So he's there, with his little knife that he doesn't carry to the ring, hacking at this block and thanking the Young Bucks for bringing back the Jurassic Express. I don't really get his point, and I don't care.
Well, at least we saw Luchasaurus growling.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
GOA versus the Hurt Syndicate.
Okay, this was all right.
It was all right.
No. Look, I'm looking at it like that way. Huh?
Okay, take it away, Prof.
You got a tag team match, but then we know we have a wait a minute. The week before,
I know that's true.
The week before, who said it? It will rot my brain. Lad Rat said it will rot my brains as I'm trying to think about this logic. But again, the week prior, we had a street fight trios match on a Dynamite, which was okay and stuff like that. Now we have a tag team match straight up to try to get into a straight up trios match for WrestleDream. My brain is hurting. It really is hurting. And then, okay, well, we were trying to get GOA over with this storyline. We are trying to get GOA some sort of credibility for the demand and for Ricochet. I don't know. Again, this is where, Jimmy, you talk about AI and ChatGPT booking, but Tony is really pressing that button a lot for this storyline.
That's the big macro picture. Jimmy is frozen.
Yeah.
So while we wait for that to thaw out, yeah, that's the macro picture there that you just laid out as far as like how are we supposed to get into this booking. On the micro, in the micro picture, I noticed that in the finish of this match, MVP slides his cane into the ring for no reason whatsoever.
Because it wasn't used.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was there. Like he was giving it to his team who didn't need it, but the referee was looking right at it. So all the cane did was distract the referee, and that caused Ricochet to hit Shelton Benjamin with the spirit gun, and Bishop Khan pinned Shelton Benjamin after Ricochet hit him with the spirit gun. Now, I'll remind you in case you didn't watch this show, and thank you very much for that. I don't blame you. Ricochet is just the manager on the outside here. He's not part of the match. So this was just the spot. And so basically MVP cost his team the match when it made no sense to do so. His team was on top when he's...
Another macro or micro for me when I look at this optically, Vet, and please chime in on this. But again, the Hurt Syndicate, since they've been in AEW, have been dominant. They were already instantly the AEW World Tag Team Champions. And we've heard, newsworthy or not, that they've had like this creative booking, control, if you will. Mm-hmm. Now, again, well, like I said, on the macro, GOA is supposed to benefit from this storyline, which they did to a degree, that Tonga Loa got the pin on Shelton Benjamin. But who did they pin? Shelton. Would have been better in the macro, that I hate to keep saying that word, but would have been beneficial optically. Even if it was the Kane, even if it was Ricochet doing heelish shit, Bobby needs to take a pin, or is Tony really gonna save Bobby for something bigger? Maybe in a singles capacity, because Bobby has been well protected. Shelton's been the fall guy for all this run.
I guess what else could you do? I mean, that's just kind of what you have to do. But at the same time, if that's your goal is protecting Bobby Lashley, then maybe you shouldn't have spent 80% of this match getting the shit beat out of him. Because that's what happened. They tossed Bobby Lashley around like he was Wes Lee. I mean, there's no other way to say it. If you go back and watch it, that's what happened. So not only does his finish suck, but I mean, the match didn't make sense. The match had no psychology. And I'm just telling you guys, like, if you didn't watch it, the way this finish went down, this is how I would book MVP turning on his own team. That's how bad it was and how little sense it made. Because that's not what ended up happening. It's just how it looked like it was going to happen. So that was weird. But importantly, I guess, GOA gets a win. And this is still not settled, apparently, because we got a match at WrestleDream. So for what? I don't know. Number one contendership? We'll get there.
We'll get there.
And Jimmy got here.
I changed internet connections, man. Ridiculous.
All right.
Do I seem better now? A little bit.
You seem a little bit better.
You look sexier. You look sexier. Just keep it on this one. You look sexier.
Anyway, continue on.
All right, so we got some footage of the Darby attack at New York Comic Con, and the only difference in this, as opposed to the other footage we saw from last week, was they showed a little bit of Tony and RJ off to the side looking scared as Darby was getting hauled away.
He was afraid for his life at Comic Con.
Fear for his life, definitely, and now we know that RJ City also fears for his life. So there was that. Speaking of that, so that's the lead in. That's your catch up for the undisclosed location, right? Where, once we get done with filming this little thing, then that's when Britt and Jacob can go in there and, handle their business. But for right now, it looks to be some prison visiting area with the glass and everything, and the phones, right? Or did they have the phones even, or was that not? Am I imagining that?
It looked like one of those prison visit centers, like San Quentin and stuff like that. So, they did the phone thing. Visually, I'll say this, and I'll give AEW some praise, guys. So, newsflash on this one. Optically, it looked good. It kind of like reminded you of, let's say, Lucha Underground. Like, you hear that, like, that mystic music playing in the background, and then all that stuff. Again, you got cameras and all that stuff. I kind of dismissed all that stuff. And they're hyping up the match so much. They're hyping up, and what John Moxley was trying to say is how much he loves Darby Allin, how much, everything. And I will keep harping on this for the Haminites. All this was for Darby Allin to get that World Heavyweight Championship. And this segment really proved it. It just was 100% proof that Hangman should never be the champion, even though Tony Schiavone says he's the greatest world champion of all time in AEW history. It was never meant for that. This segment was all about Darby. This segment was all about Darby getting that push to the next level. And, of course, the Death Riders, they set a trap for him in that prison. Wow, what a shock on that one. But, again, it was a nice, optically, looked like Lucha Underground. It looked very cinematic, and I like the whole gimmick of that.
But why in the prison setting, though? Like,
it was undisclosed. They had to both feel safe after that Comic-Con incident.
Right. And also because Moxley saw it somewhere in some movie. So, now I want to ask you this because I talk about this all the time, how it takes me out of it. If you want it, when they want to do this cinematic bullshit, the music.
No.
Like you can't trust people to sit here and watch this if you don't have, as the character from Forgetting Sarah Marshall would call it, ominous tones. Like it's not quite music, but it's the whole time that they're talking. You have to have some score to it, and I fucking hate it. It makes everything seem phonier than it already is. But what about you, Professor? Could you do without the music for stuff like this?
Honestly, I think I need the music because then I know something big is gonna happen. Call me jaded on that. Call it simplistic. But when you hear that ominous music like a horror movie, you know that Freddy's gonna kill you in the dream. But you need that music. You need, and then he's gonna kill you. But again, with the music happening, then you know something climatic is gonna happen. But the negative part of that, bet, I'll say this: even with the music that I liked, even with the Lucha Underground, this shit went on for like I don't have a time bell or something, but it felt like it went on for like 10 minutes. It went on too long. Yeah, see, you hear that music? It goes on too long. It drags on too long and all that stuff. If you could, I don't need to fall asleep, Jimmy.
That's what we needed.
But Vet, I'll say this: they should have condensed this. If you had Jim Cornette writing this, even though he wouldn't want to do it, Jim Cornette would have said, "We're going to time it for maybe 3 to 5 minutes tops. Get your shit in, get the points across, do the sneak attack, and then let's go home."
Well, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but because I would throw the whole thing in the trash, but just to play devil's advocate or whatever, no, you can't do that because then it's going to be rushed. Like the whole idea of using this music and everything is to build the tension. If you don't build enough tension, then the attack at the end doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything anyway. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, they did it correctly wrong, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to say it. If you're going to do a cinematic thing, you got to do it right, as it would appear in a movie. If you cut it too short.
I get what you're saying, but I think they were dragging on saying the same thing 3 different ways. That's what John Moxley was doing. Maybe you could have just said it the same way twice, not 3 or 4 or 5 different times. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Or script yourself a better, more coherent thing and don't use AI. So anyway, of course, eventually Pac shows up in the pod behind Darby and beats the shit out of him and smears his blood all over the glass because, that's cinematic. Cinematic, bro. See, when you're bored, right, and you're watching, I think it was Batman, The Dark Knight with Batman and the Joker in that prison scene, you could see that's where John Moxley got the idea. It was all John Moxley watching The Dark Knight.
Well, apparently, no, it was a reference to another Australian movie. I can't remember what it's called. I read it. Someone posted about it, but I forgot.
Stop watching Australian movies, John.
It was another Australian movie. I kid you not. He's got an obsession. Oh, no. It was Heath Ledger. He was channeling from Dark Knight. You're right. As a matter of fact, there was a Batman reference, but he was playing the Heath Ledger character or something like that.
Yeah, it was the Joker, Dark Knight.
Right.
Batman
exactly. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, in that scene, there was no glass and there was physicality. So he didn't even do that right. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's go from that. Let's go from that to the opposite of that. A cold, meaningless match. It's Claudio versus Roderick Strong. That's what we want to see. To our appetite is wet. Now we're here to eat, and this is what they give us. I'm not even gonna attempt to watch this fucking match, bro. And better yet, the finish was Roddy trying to attempt a high knee, right? His classic high knee, the Harley race, But when he goes for it, Claudio pops him up, hits him with a European 1, 2, 3.
That looked good though. I'll give it that, man.
Looked good, but I'm surprised anybody doesn't just kick out of any European uppercut, considering everything else they kick out of.
I got one question, because just pull it right here. There's something about this match that confuses me, but it's not about the match itself. It's just more of the optics. Roddy and Marina Shafir are married, right, guys?
That's right.
AEW always blurs this line of things that happen behind the scenes, but how many references have we had of Roddy and Marina?
There has been actually a couple.
But why hasn't it played out? I mean, that's the question I have. I mean, Roddy could be in this nice program against the Death Riders, and you have his wife on the side of Jon Moxley, on the side of the Death Riders. You could do something. Well, I don't know if I'm writing for AI, but Roddy trying to save his wife from the shackles of Jon Moxley's brain manipulation. I'm just saying, it might not make money, but at least it's something that you could do for Dynamite and Collision.
Are you saying that this is a new version of Mario Brothers where she's Peach and he's Mario to save the princess? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if Jon Moxley's Donkey Kong, you could do that too. Whatever.
Or Bowser.
He is hairy and primate-like. That's definitely true. Yeah, why don't they think of things? That's the basic question. We could just end our entire podcasting career with that. AEW doesn't think. Okay, we're out. So, yeah. Anyways, that's great. You know what else is great? Don Callis family birthday dinner. This is what we need.
Talk about cinematic, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Which I do like the part where Okada presses the button during Takeshita's, portion of the speech. It's oops, sorry, wrong button.
That was cool.
Yeah, new IWGP champion Konosuke Takeshita. They will just roll over. Bro. They will just roll over and die for anything to.
What the hell is going on, Vet? I was going to bring that up earlier in the news, but there's no point. But now that you brought it up, I can't believe they fed him everything, dude. He's the man of New Japan right now.
Well, apparently he's signed.
Yeah, I saw that too. How do you sign 2 different contracts? How does this work?
Where was fucking Fightful Select on this one?
It's true.
I didn't see no report on this.
I knew about that, and I don't understand how that works and why he signed with New Japan and signed with AEW. I mean, who gets first dabs?
Obviously Tony, because he's the one that's brokering this stuff.
Yeah, but he's got a separate contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, though.
But probably the contingencies is more dates of AEW, and then do certain things that will be more to Tony's liking. Tony's got the leverage of this partnership.
Well,
you got to be realistic about that.
I think what's going on here is that Tony is finally trying to give back from everything he took. Right now, so. And yes, because to him he thinks he's being, to use a professor word, magnanimous. The reality is, I don't think the Japanese fans really like or accept Takeshita. Not in like the New Japan fans. They probably just look at this as like they see it for what it is, which is like, oh God, this guy, like right, the outsider, the DDT guy. They're not really like down with him 100%. They're probably confused.
Yeah, they would accept Takeshita if he would be like, I don't want to say the savior of New Japan, but be give the torch to Takeshita, main event the Wrestle Kingdoms, try to sell out the Tokyo Dome as best as he can, just put some momentum into New Japan. But they know that he has to bide his time, going back to America, going back to AEW. So again, it's not Tony. Yeah, Tony Khan is being magnanimous. Tony Khan is trying to be gracious. But again, Tony Khan is sucking the life out of New Japan, but I call it karma because New Japan did this to ROH in the 2010s. It's karma.
You know what?
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
also,
It probably is.
Thank you, Malaka. Appreciate it.
and also you have to look at it from the other point of view. New Japan is in bad shape, and it's not just because of AEW. It's actually the other way. New Japan can't afford to pay these guys what they need and want.
And
Tony will do it. So they're basically like offloading salaries. Like New Japan can't even afford to pay their stars anymore. You know, they can't afford to pay Okada what he deserves or what he wants. So they're probably saying in like a situation like much like Bret Hart and WCW, they're like, go get your money because we can't give it to you. Go get your money there. And at the very least, the mention of New Japan on their television will hopefully possibly bring some overseas eyeballs over here. It won't, but it's better than doing nothing at all because we're bleeding, you know? So it's not even a question of Tony stealing the talent. It's a question of he's taking in refugees at this point.
That Japanese economy after COVID and the pandemic, yeah, they really have taken a toll for the last 5 years.
And that's partially, and part of that is on New Japan because the crop of talent they were getting, they suck. They just suck. The young guys ain't it. So it's just an unfortunate situation all around. It's not like devious as people make it out to be. It's just the reality of the situation is what it is. But Takesha's not going to be something that turns it around either. Because the fans, the Japanese fans play along with the kayfabe to the highest degree, but even they can see through the booking, right? So they know what this is. Anyways, Don Callis introduces Mark Davis, Josh Alexander, and Hechicero to take on the Omega Express.
Is that a train?
They ran a train on my patience. Let's put it that way. Especially you like the Doomsday device. You like that 110-pound body flying through the air, knocking Hechicero off of Luchasaurus's shoulders for the Doomsday device. That's not even a hand grenade device. Forget about Doomsday. That's the shittiest.
I'm still trying to kind of remember Mark Davis. He was injured, but I don't remember him being a full-fledged member of the Don Callis family. I thought he was just a hired gun. There's a difference because I remember Brian Cage. I'm just saying, it's in my background. I'm just giving you this. It's hurting my brain. Mark Davis was hired gun, and Don Callis like chewed him out on TV before he got injured. And then, of course, now he's a member of the Don Callis family. And then, pause for what? I'm just saying. Well, I guess the train comment, but neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, Jimmy, you know, Brian Cage is supposed to be a member of this Don Callis family. He's not even being used. He's with Britt Baker trying to fix Jacob Fatu's teeth, too. I don't know what he's doing. Or is he trying to save everybody in Christianity getting blessed? He's saving Zoe Stark. He's saving her soul, getting blessed. You want to talk about shit going on behind the scenes? I'm just saying there's certain members of the Don Callis family that should be on TV, and Brian Cage is one of them. Not Mark Davis.
Davis, the worst person in the history of wrestling.
Not to go backwards, but with this match of the Omega Express, remember, everything is about Kenny Omega trying to trust the scapegoat. It's not about Luchasaurus. It's about Kenny Omega and the scapegoat because of the history that both of them had, because it was the scapegoat that injured Omega in the first place that they never, they're trying to acknowledge that part, even though they can't acknowledge that it was Kyle Fletcher that injured Kenny Omega weeks ago. They didn't want to have that match. And then Andrade attacked him, but then they can't acknowledge that because of the, no compete clause issues. So now we got this. The Don Callis family. It's all go back to Don Callis.
I love it. I love it. 10 stars. As for Brian Cage, I don't even know where he is. Did he tear his tricep spiking his hair or something? Like what happened?
Probably.
Jimmy's got the news on that, right? Jimmy, you got all the news.
No, it doesn't matter.
Him
And Wardlow can just go be hurt and big for no reason somewhere else. But the Young Bucks run in after this, of course, and then they get beat up. Jamie Hayter versus Dark Sky.
Wait a minute. Whoops, wrong thing.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, even with Dark Julia out there, we get a Haterade for a strong win for Jamie Hayter.
Of course we did.
And Tekla's talking again.
I can't stand it, bro. I can't stand it. Although, anyway, we'll get to that. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Later on.
Renee is with old 10 belts. Ultimo Money. And they have her belts.
Nickname
her belts
long
are there.
before she gave herself that nickname, just quietly.
We sure did.
Way before. I mean, does this matter at this point with her having 10 belts right now?
Yep.
At that point.
Yes, it does.
We'll save everything. I'll save everything for WrestleDream.
Yeah. All
Keep
right.
moving.
You're right.
Keep moving.
We'll save it. Keep moving.
Hang Person goes to the desk for our main event of Dynamite, which is LFI versus the Ops, which it ends when Joe catches Dralistico out of the air with a coquina, chokes him out. LFI gets heat back because Roosh ain't going to sell nothing, so he's going to beat everybody up. Should have done it in the match and won the match if he was going to do that, but neither here nor there. Hangman Page is like, well, guys, guess I got to take my jacket off now, and goes in the ring, saves everybody, and then Joe picks up the belt and shoves it into Hangman Page's chest and walks past him angrily.
As he should.
To close Dynamite, but not really the show because we got another hour.
I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for that WrestleDream match, guys. I can't wait.
Well, let's not wait, but let's go through the collision just for completion's sake. And feel free not to chime in. We can get right through this if you want to. If you really want to, just hold your hand up and I'll call on you. But
only because, look, we've got a huge show already. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're chiming in, we're going to be here for 10 hours.
Right. So Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta versus O'Reilly and Orange. Claudio Europeans Kyle. It's the new deadliest finisher in AEW because it's about to beat two guys now. He didn't even hit Kyle with an extra move. He just Europeans Kyle, rolls him in, and Garcia pins him. So that's all you need. One European and one and done European now. He's been training that arm. Don't ask how. And then the Death Riders come in and clean house, and then Darby staggers out from that beating he received earlier in the prison, and Claudio runs down and gives him a European, but he will not stay down for this. He's going to crawl to the ring. He's going to crawl all the way to Moxley's feet. And then they've got the AEW flag in the ring. You know, the same exact one that he planted on Mount Everest. So what, he planted it and then took it with him? What the hell? So he
went back, grabbed it, and brought it to Dynamite.
Oh, climbed it again off camera, off site. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Undisclosed location, and no one knows where. No one knows where. So. And then John Moxley gives him the DDT on the AEW flag. Oh, the symbolism. Oh, the artistic interpretations. Oh, my God. Ooh. A DDT on the flag.
Wonder what that means.
Megan Bayne with FTR. A Megasis promo? We get a promo from the Megasis? Don't do it, actually, is my advice on that. Don't do it. And then Stoke talks, and I'm like, okay, do that. And then Axon talks, and I'm like, okay, don't do that. And then Jet Speed and Cameron Gale are up on the video screen, and they have a rebuttal, but then they pull an MJF and appear magically in the ring when they were just on the screen and attack the heels. And that goes right into a match of Megan versus Harley Cameron. And this time for once, Harley didn't kick the shit out of Megan Bayne for 10 minutes, but she did kick out of the old finisher, whatever the Heaven's Fall or whatever it was called. But then she did get the Liger Bomb, and that's going to be enough to even beat Harley Cameron. Yes, Professor.
Just a quick question. I'm remembering again, just a disclaimer, but
we're swaggy P these days, actually.
For some weeks, it's been Willow Nightingale coming into the face of Megan Bay. Just saying, Vet. Now you can move on.
Okay, I will. Eddie Kingston and Hook. Yeah. They're inviting somebody to the tailgate party to get this work. Let's see who shows up. Alicia Toot is with Gay Times. I'm sorry, no, it's Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. And wait,
did you trademark that name, Gay Times? Because that is good.
No, the magazine actually. Has it. Yeah. But they only have it copyrighted for the magazine. Maybe for wrestling, they might have to do a World Wildlife Fund thing. Share.
You're just giving AEW some good ideas right now. Gay Times right now, you could change a lot of things for them.
How long have I been doing this show? There's nothing but good ideas, and sometimes they even take them.
This is 5 years in the making, Tony. Go ahead, go for it.
That's right. He's always 5 years behind. But I will say this. See, I like this idea, but the problem is it's in a vacuum. They only do it here, but they should expand this to give a through line for the entire company. But the fact is, it's like these guys are booked as a team, like by Tony Khan. Like they're saying the storyline is that they don't like each other and don't want to work together, but Tony Khan is booking them anyway, right? And I'm like, that's a great idea. That shows you that there is somebody that's in charge of these things, and we know that he books matches and stuff. However, there's way too many instances of people going into business for themselves, booking their own angles and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, I would think that attempted murders he would have a problem with. So there's a lot of things where this doesn't work. So I would just like to see that always be a story of like Tony having to veto things, Tony having to approve things, Tony booking things, whether they like it or not. Like there should be more of that. It should always be like that. We're talking about Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, like anybody that's an authority figure of any kind, on screen or off screen. Whose show is it? Instead of these wrestlers saying, well, how about we settle this tonight? How about, no, I already booked this whole card and you're ruining it. I should have never gave you motherfuckers a microphone.
You literally got TV matchmakers ready to be used, like Bryan Danielson or Nigel McGuinness. Just have them have that kind of role to make the matches and be that GM. Since they don't want to call them GMs, just make them matchmakers like they did in ROH years ago with Nigel McGuinness. It works.
Right.
You're right.
And it works. It even works in AEW because AEW has no problem going to the main screen or the little lower third and telling you all the matches that are going to be on tonight. Mm-hmm. So they've clearly booked a card for you already, right? So it just plays right into it. Anyways, Fletcher and Archer and Romero versus Briscoe Dido, and Rocky takes the loss. Of course, Mark and Kyle fight off. Clone appears. Okada hits Brody with the belt and makes it rain on Bandido for the end of the show. Rainmaker standing tall, bitches. And that's Collision. Now, I did happen to watch a little tailgate brawl. I only had time for a little bit. Didn't even get to finish the tailgate brawl because of work. But here's what I saw. The opening match was the Dick Riders, and Pac, we were talking about, I asked you last week, Jimmy, do you like Pac's new look or whatever? Well, he's back to the old look. The only thing he kept from the new look, yes, he's got his trunks, he's got his normal kick pads and everything, but the only thing he kept from his old look is he's got his stripy socks. So he's still got the high stripy socks. Don't worry about that. But the singlet is gone. The long tights are gone. He's back to the trunks. So it's the Death Riders versus the Conglomeration, and the Conglomeration now have an actual graphic for their name, Conglomeration, that shows up on the Tron when they come out. A little very festive looking, looks like some 90s sitcom era, like, it's cute. And Pac hits the running knee on Tomohiro Ishii for the win. Why? Why the running knee is a finish? Why Ishii? Don't know. Don't like it.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, Vet. This is all building up to that men's blood and guts. I see it right now. Maybe 5 months ahead, but it's got to be the conglomeration against the Death Riders, blood and guts war games. It's working right now. You see it on TV all the time. It just works like that.
Yep. Well, you know what else works? Invitations and open challenges. So remember Hook and Eddie, I just said a couple minutes ago, they invited somebody to the Tailgate Brawl to get this work. And who shows up to get this work? With no fanfare whatsoever, the frat house. Who even remembered that these guys still existed or had jobs? Well, they don't.
If you watch ROH religiously every week, you'll know it.
All right, so that's why I said nobody knows it. So 2 dimes taps to the red rum, in case you were wondering. And guess who's back, guys? The Fat Family. You know, with the cookies and the boom and whatever. They're at some Hooters-like restaurant, some legally distinct not Hooters restaurant. Then Roppongi Vice shows up, and the dad starts kicking their asses, but they eventually get the better of him. And then in front of his fat son, Trent takes his arm cast, which again nobody knew he was even hurt or cared. These guys are in the Don Callis family, by the way. And he takes that cast and busts the dad in the head. Well, it's supposedly the head. It kind of hit him in the throat, but whatever. The dad sold his head, so that's what we're going with. And then the match that was going on. Just imagine a European with an arm cast. How about that, Claudio? Pretend to break your arm, man. Get some heat. So the match that I end up turning off due to time constraints and having to start this show was Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn versus actual Harley and Willow Nightingale. And I have no idea how this ended up, but I can tell you that it was probably a barn burner.
Well, first of all, I'm having trouble loading my notes up for that, so I don't know why it's not freaking loading up. Might have to use my phone for that. But do you know who won? Do you have anything?
I think Willow's team won.
That matters. Did you watch the next match after that, Vet?
I literally told you what happened.
No,
I told you I didn't even finish this match, so why would I watch?
You mean, Jimmy, the main event of the tailgate party that transcended into the WrestleDream? Yeah, that's what Vet missed, because it was FTR against Jet Speed. The match that was not even advertised for WrestleDream. So I'll try to do like the Vet kind of thing. But what Tony Khan was trying to do, Hami Nights, was to do the old Monday Nitro hour 1 to hour 2 break-in. Because once they ran out of time on TNT, you were supposed to go to your Amazon Prime or your Triller account or whatever the case may be, your Fight TV, and start off WrestleDream. And then they had the pyro and all that stuff. So they were trying to pay. He was trying to pay homage to Eric Bischoff. Wow, this is news in the making. Tony Khan is praising an Eric Bischoff booking, the Nitro booking, and all that stuff. So we get into that match, and again, it is what it is. I don't know what Tony Khan sees in Jet Speed. You know, again, I think they need to be broken up. They have no character. They have no charisma. FTR is trying to carry this team. FTR can only do so much, guys. They're the anchors of the AEW tag team division, and this is not me being biased. No. This is FTR. Go ahead, Vet.
I just want not to stop you, but just to add to you, as a friend of theirs would say, they're hurt and they're old and they're fucking tired and they work with fucking children. Continue.
Yes, they are, and then the finish was very simplistic. It was Stokely holding on to the legs of Mike Bailey, and they got the cheap heat win. Right. There you go. And technically, WrestleDream starts after that.
I see. Hey, You know who else did this run over from the pre-show into the paid show? TNA.
They did?
Just a couple months ago. They did it with Sami Callihan versus Mance Warner.
Okay, interesting. It did give me the Nitro vibes, though, Prof. You're right. Them going into, we're number 2. Usually when they do the hour number 1, Hour number 2 with the fireworks and shit.
I would love to see how many people were so into this match that they wanted to pay $50 to go and buy this pay-per-view just to see Jet Speed and FTR, because of course that that FTR brings in those dollars. It is what it is on that.
We'll see. We'll see when we get the numbers in.
Come on, man. Well,
and I'm sure they'll have the max buys in a separate category too, because we don't want to put it together. You get $10 off your max buy, I think.
Jimmy, you got the notes? You got the card?
I do now, so we can get right into it.
The floor is yours.
The next match is Jamie Hayter and Tekla. And now, look, I'm not going to shit on this match completely. I actually thought both women worked pretty hard and shit. I just don't like the way the direction of the match went. Like, I can't stand matches, and this is a real AEW thing compared to WWE. Even though WWE does it too sometimes, but not as much as this. I mean, Tekla was dominating the whole match, Prof. The whole match. But I'll give her this. I'm not a big fan of hers, but she was doing that old school generating heat, posturing to the crowd. We had Lutez's wife in the crowd as well. She was getting heat through her as well, which was good on Tekla. I like that. Like, she was taunting the crowd pretty much throughout the whole match. But when you dominate the whole match, and then Hayter gets one move in, and then 1, 2, 3, that's kind of annoying, Prof.
Well, the optics, Jimmy, and Vet can chime in on this, because with all the Collision tapings and all the Dynamite tapings, let's say the paragon between Tekla, the Triangle of Madness, and Jamie Hayter is climbing that mountain, beating Julia Hart, beating Sky Blue, or Dark Sky, as you would say eloquently, and then now has to go past Tekla in this match. And you're right. Tekla dominated like 80% of this match, and then Jamie Hayter got the win. And again, they're trying to build for that female war games, be female blood and guts stuff. So it's not over there, because now you have Jamie and Queen Aminata against the Triangle of Madness, and now you got to recruit 2 for the Triangle of Madness side, and then of course you got to recruit 3 on the side of Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata. So who are you gonna pick on that tail? It is what it is on that. But the match was decent, and again, for me, Bet, I look at it as Jamie Hayter climbing that Triangle of Madness mountain. But I did not know that Tekla was the leader. I thought it was Julia Hart. That's just me.
Wait, what? She's the leader?
I thought she was. She started it.
Well, is this an isosceles triangle, or is this a equilateral triangle? Like, that's what we have to figure out.
Isn't it a hexagon? I don't know.
I only see 3, so I'm thinking triangle.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an isosceles, that means that there's a higher point. So if Tekla's that, okay, then we whatever. So obviously, in case anybody's just joining, I didn't watch WrestleDream, not 1 second of it. So I'm just going to chime in on generalities and basics here. The first question I have before I get to this match: what was the Inoki family's participation in the beginning of the show? Did we get a Ichi-ni-san da or anything? Did we get any scarves? Do we... nothing?
Yes, we got scarves.
We did get a scarf. Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's it.
I don't want the great Antonio Inoki to be rolling in his grave. I want him to stay perfectly still in his grave. So I just want to make sure that...
Remember the first...
Because this is for him. This is to honor Antonio Inoki, basically the founder of New Japan. That's the only reason we're here. That's why we're starting, obviously, with Tekla and Jamie Hayter, 2 of his favorites before he passed on. So just okay. So
come on.
That's where we are. So you're telling me that Jamie Hayter won this match?
Yes, and believe me when I say, like Prof said, 85% of the match was all Tekla, dude, the whole way through.
Well, that's rotten. Tekla should have won. Yeah. There's really no question about that. I'm not even going to entertain any arguments. Tekla's supposed to win because she should be the focus. And if we're building to a match of blood and guts, then you need to have the baby faces down.
Right, exactly.
And even more to what Professor said, like the team is uncertain. So with uncertainty compounded with the fact that now who's going to want to join your team? You're a loser. You just lost. I'm not going to join your team and get my ass whipped by this triangle of madness. You know, like that's the story you're supposed to tell. Don't give Jamie Hayter a win because you feel like you owe her something with her fucking Scooby-Doo looking ass. Just
she really does.
Yeah, Tekla's hot, Tekla's new, beat Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter's old news. That's it. And then you go from there, and now the baby faces are behind the 8 ball. That's just basic storytelling. You don't even need AI to write that.
You don't.
All right, so what's next?
Well,
Jimmy, let me just say this because you kind of harped on it a little bit because Vet was talking about Antonio Inoki and how Tony Khan respects the New Japan side. Tony Khan also respected the legacy of the Luthez family because I think something
this was a Luthez show.
This was a Luthez honored show because I think his wife or something like that was in the crowd in front row and stuff like
she
that.
Was right.
She played a role in the Tekla Jamie Hayter match, but I remember something that was said, I think on the Dirt Sheets that Tony Khan Vet. I don't know if you want to chime in on this just for a second, but Tony Khan in those AOL chats actually got to talk with Luthez in the 90s. Yeah,
I've heard that.
Is that confirmed? I thought I was literally laughing, guys. I thought this is the antithesis of catfishing. That Tony Khan actually believed he was talking to Luthez in AOL chats in the 90s.
Wait.
I'm sorry. This is catfishing. I would be watching MTV and looking at Tony Khan being like, oh my God, this is a fat dude acting like Luthez. I'm just saying.
What I'm confirming is that he chatted with somebody claiming to be Luthez. I've heard this story. At no point am I confirming that was Luthez on the other end of the keyboard. And if you ever met an old person trying to use technology, I'm sure you could draw your own conclusions of whether that was Luthez. But even if it was, it's pretty awesome.
I just wanted to say that just for this show. So, Jimmy, you can go on to the next match. Let's just go.
Wow, that's sad, man. But anyway, I just want to quickly say, post-match, Queen Aminata arrives to raise Jamie Hayter's hand while the Sisters of Sin appear on the stage, just, looking and just doing nothing. They're just staring. So there's that. So the next match. Oh, yeah, true. I should have said the Darks, but forget it for now because they're just useless. So next we've got, we're still going to go down the other way. You know what? Again, this match surprised me a little bit, but it is Jurassic Express. And I'm not going to call him, is it Jungle Boy or is it Jungle Man? But it doesn't matter. It's Jack Perry.
Jungle Jack Perry. From
Lil Brooks Jensen. Exactly. Little Brooks Jensen.
Real Brooks Jensen, exactly. And Luchasaurus versus the good old Bucks in Matt and Nick Jackson. And it is for $500,000, which I can't stand anymore. Enough of these money matches, please. Tony, we're getting them every second week. And now it's on pay-per-view.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. You accepted the $1 million belt. We can accept the $500K belt. It's money.
Whatever, man. It's for monopoly money here.
At the very look, again, I can't believe I'm defending this, but
oh God, no.
At least the Young Bucks have had a money-involved storyline recently. I was going
to say that, and it's half entertaining in a stupid way. All right, and when I say stupid way, it doesn't really belong in wrestling, but it's kind of amusing, if that makes any sense.
Well, I could, if there was never any other random matches on Collision for big amounts of money, then having a match like this would be like, oh, okay, I get it. But because we're seeing the other ones, we're just laughing at this along with it and grouping it in with it. Now, the Young Bucks can die of AIDS. I don't care, but I'm just saying, at least the money match here makes sense in what they were doing.
It does. That's true. No, I'll give him that. Before I move on, Malika Joe says, hey, Prof, who's the guy in the background? You don't know Swaggy P, bro. Come on. There's no Swaggy. Anyway,
I just know him as a meme.
Well, he was a half-decent basketball player at one stage. Oh. Sort of. Would you say?
What's his real name again? Swaggy P. What's his real name?
I think, is it Nick Young?
Yes, Nick Young. It's Nick Young. It is.
There's also another meme of him trying to shoot a 3 and it goes off, and he thought he made it too. So go ahead, Jimmy, with the match.
When he was playing for the Lakers, I remember that. That was good.
Yeah. I'll say this with the match event, with the 500K match. Yes, you're right. It was built about the Young Bucks. All the weeks about spending the 500K, wasting it at the casino. It is what it is. What I did appreciate, Vet, since you didn't watch it, was the entrance, Jimmy. We gotta remember the entrance.
That was funny. That was funny.
It was a funny entrance. They were showing the account balance of the 500K that they initially spent, and again, they wasted it all in the casino. And then the total balance that they had was $32.17. So they renamed them the $32.17 Bucks, not the Young Bucks, just the 32 and change Bucks. So I just want to go on with that.
And I just want to correct Malaka. The $37 It was the brother that blew the money, as in Nick Jackson is the one that went to the slots and absolutely and wasted all the money. And what's weird, in real life, he does have a bit of a slot addiction, which I'm surprised that they're using this in actual storyline.
Well, slots are good. Well, come on, slots are good, man. They have their purpose.
Yeah, I don't mind them sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Seriously, the women had their purpose. Oh wait, we're talking sluts or slots? I'm sorry,
slut machines.
Oh, okay.
That's what's going to be big in Japan and China right now. Slut machines, and then they're going to be making their way. Yeah.
Wow, slut machines. I like it. Anyway, look, I for whatever freaking reason, I can't believe I'm saying this. Yes, it was flips. Yes, the rules didn't matter because don't be fooled, Vet. They said this was a normal tag team match, but I'm telling you, it was a tornado tag match. All right. Mm-hmm. It was totally tornado tag because Mr. Baldy, what's his name, that referee again, Prof? I forgot his name.
Rick Knox. No, it's always Rick Knox if it's the Young Bucks.
Rick Knox. It was Knox. The dopiest ref probably in AEW. There's a lot of dopes. But this guy, he's sleeping during the match. The decency that Jack Perry even brought in the tag rope, I laughed my ass off. Did you see that part? He actually, I don't know where the tag rope came from, but he just put it on there because there wasn't another tag rope on the other side. But whatever, the ref is like, I don't know why he's going off at him for putting a tag rope.
But he's doing the right thing. But Jimmy, there is a negative, and Bet can harp on this too, because again, this match, this pay-per-view lasted 4.5 hours. This match could be cut. Jimmy, how many minutes? We could have took away maybe about 8
minutes,
8 to 10 minutes of flips and flippity doos and spots and stuff like that. People in St. Louis, yes, if you love this match, God bless you. And I know Dave Meltzer will give it 5 stars. But again, the timing was so bad. This dragged on with you just adding spot after spot, false finish after false finish to get to the point where the Jurassic Express wins the match. And then you add on an extra 5 minutes with the Don Callis family coming in to attack them. And then you add another minute for Kenny Omega to have this look at the Young Bucks and say, what are you going to do? You're going to help them out or whatnot? And all this stuff, Vet. It is what it is. But you can condense 10 minutes of flippity-doos and false finishes to get your point across in a pay-per-view match. Right, Vet?
Yeah. Unless you're the $37, and then you have to get all your shit in at the expense of everyone else. The catchphrase was killing the business for a reason.
True. But I will give them credit because they made Jurassic Express look like $1 million. They were working their asses off. The Bucks really, to their credit, man, they were running around the whole match without even breaking a sweat. It felt like they were just on point. And that's why I'll praise the match for that reason. Right? Because like I was saying to you off the air privately in the text, I get put all the bullshit aside. Like you literally have to put all the bullshit aside. It's an enjoyable match.
But that is the bullshit, Jimmy.
Right, that's the problem.
We can't put it aside. It was there taking up all the time, I guess.
That's the problem if you condense 10 minutes of the bullshit to harp on it because you're trying to tell the story. I'm not, again, plus, this match was not a pay-per-view match. This is a filler match for Dynamite. This is actually, you're telling a story with all this money stuff and all this stuff, all the vignettes. This is a Dynamite match. This is a main event Dynamite match.
Oh, 100% main event Dynamite, right?
Then I would be excited for one of your wreckages where Vet is talking about a $500K main event match on Dynamite.
Finally, a main event.
Yes.
But before we move on, it gets worse though, because at the end when it's all schmoz and everyone's brawling and whatnot, and the Bucks are like, iffing and ahhing, should they help and whatnot, and they don't in the end. The friggin' money was left on the floor. Now, Jack Perry looked like he was going to give him money at the end of the match. Believe it or not, it looked like that. They were going to accept it. And then, you had the Callis family running, right? But mind you, while everyone's brawling, the bag of money is on the friggin', it's just no one's attending to it. I'm like, the Bucks got to steal this shit. It'd be funny if they steal it and run away, right?
And they didn't?
And they
somebody,
didn't.
Wait, somebody pocketed it, Jimmy. You remember, it was Luchasaurus. He pocketed maybe about 10.
But that's
he
their money, though. They
grand
want
into
it, though.
No, I'm just saying he pocketed it. I thought
Right, but that's right.
I thought they were going to do the right babyface thing and throw some money for the St. Louis crowd.
It looked like that. Yeah, not even that. Not
They
even
want to do that.
that.
They want to keep it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
But-
I just look.
Tony's not
I just
paying
want to
you
say
guys.
one thing. I just want to say one thing, and then we can go. You all know by this point how I feel about the Young Bucks. One of the reasons that I like CM Punk is my hero now, when I didn't used to like him as much before, is because he got to punch them. But one thing I've never said, and nobody in the world has ever said, nobody ever said the Young Bucks couldn't go in the ring. Like, I've never seen them blow up. I've never seen them tired. I've never seen that they couldn't continue to do whatever kind of match they wanted for as long as they wanted, even if it's ungodly, interminably long, like it sounds like this was.
It was.
So with that in mind, Young Bucks, since no one has ever questioned your gas tank, you don't have to keep proving it. You can have less of a match, like Professor is saying. No one has ever questioned your ability in that realm. It's everything else that you do that they question. So you could save us all that, show us, prove to us if you have to stick it down our throats, and I do mean that how it sounds. If you have to do that, do it by proving us wrong about all the other things we call you out on. But no one said that you couldn't have a fucking Iron Man tag team match, standing on your heads. We know you can go. We know you can't blow up. So stop proving it, please. We got 5 hours.
I'm glad you said that, because it's true. None of us have ever said they can't work.
Nobody on earth has ever said that they can't, that they get blown up or anything.
I'm glad you said that, man, to just, put it out there. But I agree 100%. Anyway, let's move on, because we went from one tornado tag into another tornado tag, a legit one apparently this time.
Oh, okay.
It is a real tornado tag. It is the Hurt Syndicate in Bobby Lashley.
It wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be, Jimmy. They just turned it into that.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize
it was supposed to be just a straight trios match, and then they got clusterfucked into it. But it's okay, because they messed up. Because they already did the match. They did the match weeks ago.
I know, it's stupid, bro. Anyway, as I was saying, it is Montel Montanius Porter, Bobby Lashley, and of course Shelton Benjamin against the what do you call it? What do they call it again? The Demand in Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Leona for your AEW World Trios Championship #1 contenders. That is tornado match. That's a lot. Say that 100 times without. Yeah,
I won't.
Anyway,
I refuse.
You said it beautifully, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, what can I say? We just saw this type of matches previously, and we get it again, 2 in a row.
Back-to-back tags, huh?
Back-to-back tornado tags, Vet. Keep that in mind.
But Jimmy, we have to say this, because again, I would say the psychology of this trios match was good, Vet, in this purpose. They isolated Bobby out of the match. They isolated Shelton out of the match, and they focused on the weak link MVP and all that stuff. So they did what they were supposed to do on that one. But now that we know where we're going with this in the future with the Hurt Syndicate, and now they got the win. They got the revenge for what happened on Wednesday from your review, Vet. Now the Gates of Agony and the Demand have turned into the comedy relief, because now they have nothing. They have no story. They have no direction. They have no point. Again, the Gates of Agony was supposed to get this, launch, thanks to the Hurt Syndicate, thanks to beating Shelton Benjamin. You ruined this. And in the trios match, Jimmy, you could say the trios match was decent. I'm not going to say
it was good. It was good.
Like I said, the psychology was right there for what they were doing with MVP and stuff like that. And again,
Absolutely.
they overcame the odds. They told that story. But again, the Hurt Syndicate got the win. I don't know about this creative control, but they keep proving proving us. We keep saying the Hurt Syndicate got this creative control. Now the Gates of Agony, or GOA, whatever you want to call them, are suffering for this. But when they added the caveat of the trios titles number one contendership, it was almost a moot point, Vet. It really was. Because we know for dollar purposes, for ratings purposes, the Hurt Syndicate have to be the number one contenders for that.
Spot on. You said it perfectly, Prof.
My only question for each of you is, a la carte, what did you get out of this?
It was good.
Because I, for example, for me, like I would like in this, I would like. Well, I like most of the people. I don't really care about GOA,
right?
But I do. I'll take them rather than leave them per se. But a Ricochet would be on the plate. MVP's on the plate. Sheldon Bobby's on the plate. So I like all that. But divorced from the booking and everything else. I mean, did we get something delicious or?
It was a schmoz, bro. Really.
I see. You just had this course served to you previously, right?
It's like you picture eating a mad main course, but without without your bib. So it got pretty messy. You end up getting all like sauce all over you and shit.
Right.
That's what type of match it was, but it was tasty.
No. Jimmy, be real. They added too much salt.
For Jimmy, that's Jimmy's answer. But for you, Professor.
They added too much salt for my story. That's
I see.
Too much salt.
That's a bit
oversalted, yeah.
They oversalted this because, again, what we want out of this, and just like Vet, and we were talking about this a couple of minutes earlier, and then we go on to the next match, Jimmy, was
right.
They have a lot of dark meat.
and black people have high blood pressure, Zane. That's you, that's them, come on.
But we were talking about with the Dynamite collision review how MVP cost the Hurt Syndicate this. That could have been a great kind of let's say sprinkle to a story where the Hurt Syndicate, where MVP could betray Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and be the new leader or maybe the new advocate. I hate to use that word.
Demand?
Yeah, because I think that's what they need. That's what they need. They need to MVP needs to Paul Heyman, Lashley, and Shelton for the demand.
I like that idea. But then where do you put Ricochet in that? Just say
he needs representation.
Okay.
For for the unified title, for the TNT title. You just, a lot of dark meat for that doesn't hurt.
You know what, though, Prof? The sad part is that's too good of an idea for them to even come up with.
It is.
That's the truth.
That's like I said. No, it's not too much salt, Vet. It's too much pepper. I'm going to keep the theme going.
Too much pepper. So we're going to sneeze at all this.
Yes.
Okay. So what's next, Jimmy?
Oh, shit. That was good. That was very good, boys. I'm impressed.
I didn't say it. Someone said about dark meat. I just said you got to add the pepper.
Well, speaking of pepper, now we went from pepper to salt to oregano at this point, or oregano, whatever you want to pronounce it as. It is Cole Fletcher. This is your match now, actually, Vet. Versus Mark Briscoe for the AEW TNT Championship.
I should have prepared for this eventuality by pulling up the WrestleDream card, which I'm about to do right now.
It is Kyle Fletcher against Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship. And this match, again, when we tell this story, Mark Briscoe wanted this match. He needed this match against Kyle Fletcher because he wanted that TNT title. So that's a good story. And of course, we already know the perils that he was going through and all that stuff. So, I would say this, Vet, because again, from the last pay-per-view, Kyle Fletcher got the main event slot and challenged Hang Person Page for the AEW title. He came up short. Now he comes into this situation. He's supposed to win this match against Mark Briscoe, and he did. He proves once again, he is the proto star. He is the future of AEW and all that stuff. So my question to you, Vet, is Mark Briscoe, everybody loves the underdog, Mark Briscoe. Everybody will cheer for that strong win that Mark Briscoe does weekly on Collision and weekly on AEW. But yet the payoff is so moot. He's not going to get that payoff that maybe the fans want. Maybe they want to see him as the TNT champion, but we'll never see that. Maybe, again, there's money. They always say, Vern Gagne said there's always money in the chase. But now with today's fans and today's impatient fans, that there's no money in the chase. There's money in results. Do you agree with that assessment? You have a different take.
In today's atmosphere, I don't know if the chase makes a difference, because what they're trying to sell you is just the brand anymore, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I think the fluctuations in business, as far as those type of old school booking things, the fluctuations will be negligible. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it because it's the right thing, right? So this is the way I look at it. In terms of Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, you had a built-in story that you started by accident and you never followed through. We could have had like a big payoff in terms of how this went, because the way this started was Kyle Fletcher in the Continental Classic was basically ahead on points. And it was because of Mark Briscoe beating him that he was not able to win that Continental Classic or move on to the finals or whatever it was. But whether you care about the block points format, the round robin and all that is irrelevant. That's what they did. And that's the story. The story was Mark Briscoe spoiled it for Kyle Fletcher. They had a rematch. Okay. And Kyle Fletcher won the rematch, and they had a third match. And I was thinking, you've already messed this up, because you had a story where Kyle Fletcher's clearly on the rise. Mark Briscoe can be the guy, and people in sports understand this analogy. There's some teams that just have your number. There's some teams you just struggle to beat, regardless how well you do against other contenders. It's the same way with like championship level teams can beat other championship contender teams during a season. But when you, especially in the NFL, but when you play a division team, no matter how bad that division team is, you guys know each other so well, it's always a struggle. So Mark Briscoe could have been the answer to Kyle Fletcher, to the point where when he just beats Kyle Fletcher, and maybe he doesn't win hardly any other matches, because you seem to like to put Mark Briscoe's shoulders to the canvas all the time. But when it comes to Kyle Fletcher beats everybody but Mark Briscoe. And that is something that gets in his head. So you have that story built in, and then you can separate them. They go down their separate paths, and when they converge once again for something like the TNT Championship, now you have doubt, because Kyle Fletcher's on a roll. He's a TNT champion. He came up short against Hangman. Surely he can beat Mark Briscoe, even though Mark Briscoe always wins. So right here, if you had told that story, or even if you didn't, if you pulled the trigger on Mark Briscoe this night and called back with your promos and stuff saying like, I've always been able to beat you when it counts, or something like that, just tell the story, and you've got a story there. And I think that they missed the opportunity with that.
I think you're right. And Excalibur never kind of like harped. You said it eloquently, what you said, but Excalibur kind of does it matter of fact. You can't forget the Continental Classic, guys, where Mark Briscoe, did what he did. But it's kind of like, oh, that's an afterthought. They could have made that the story, like you're saying. Irrelevant. It could have been a relevant story point. But because of Excalibur and Tony Schiavone kind of like saying as, by the way, yeah, Mark Briscoe won, and thwarted Kyle Fletcher's, rise in the Continental Classic. It didn't mean nothing. It was just a TNT title match. I just wanted to go on your point like that.
Yeah, I didn't even know they did that. So that's more credit than I would have even given them. But I'm just saying, like, you want to do something. It doesn't really matter who has the TNT Championship, but it would matter more to Mark Briscoe to get something, because even if it's just, your Employee of the Month award, because who's the only guy that like works every show? Like Mark Briscoe has a match on almost damn near every show, when other guys take like weeks off.
He's the workhorse of the company for sure, man.
Yeah, so if nothing else, you want somebody to carry that belt to the ring multiple times.
He's the heart of the conglomeration. That's
Yes.
that's not even a joke. He is.
Right. And it's great. It's great to have something like that where he can have this thing on the side. He makes this silly thing work. He can be serious when he needs to. Like I say, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can do anything you need. You know, and I appreciate you joining us today, Franks, but your opinion is shitty. You know, this is a guy that is a benefit to any company that's doing this line of business. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not maximizing it.
It's true. Facts, man.
Jimmy, I think for the next match we have to combine the two because they're the ladies championships, but there's a reason for that.
Yes.
So we have to let's combine two into one because you have to flow into it. You understand? Go ahead, Jimmy.
Because that's exactly what they did. They flowed right into it. Mm-hmm. I just want to say before we do move on to that, and guess how the match was ended? There was one too many knee falls towards the end. It should have been done at the second knee fall, if you know what I mean, with Fletcher. But then he had to do his turnbuckle spot to get the win, Vet, just so you know, which cringed me because it looked like he bounced right off that damn top turnbuckle and into the ring for the 1, 2, 3. But anyway, that was that. It was entertaining for what it was. But yeah, Fletcher wins. Anyway, next it is your Women's World Championship match, your AEW Women's World Championship, that is. It is alien lady Kris Statlander, who is your champ, versus Toni Storm. And Prof, I didn't like this match, dude. I felt this was the weakest match of the evening, in my opinion.
The reason I said that we should lump those two is that this was the weakest part of WrestleDream because of the circumstances. So I'll kind of abbreviate it as best I can. Again, Kris Statlander defended the title against Toni Storm. We already know the build-up getting in. Kris Statlander looking, trying to gain validation, being the champion. Like, she did not get that legit win at All Out because it was a 4-way. So she might have felt herself that she did not beat Toni Storm one-on-one. So now this is a chance to prove herself. So it was kind of slow, was kind of methodical. They did their spots here and there, trying to get that Toni time pile driver down. She did, and she kicked. And Kris Statlander got kicked out of that. She won. Jimmy, how did she win? She won with her move, or did she try to do Toni Storm's move again?
It was that submission hold, whatever it was at the end, wasn't it?
I think it was, but again, neither here nor there. Because it doesn't matter, because Kris got her supposed validation.
It was a finisher after that submission, by the way, whatever that thing was, where she's like, "Fucking kill me," in those words. I'm talking about Toni Storm. Just fucking kill me. And then she done a finisher and then 1, 2, 3.
So technically, she got her validation, and then we hear the CEO's music come down. So I guess optically, we were thinking that Mercedes wants, she wanted to do an open challenge, but I thought she wanted to challenge Kris Statlander. It felt like a Money in the Bank contract. It did. I want to cash this in. I want to put my belt on the line. You put your belt on the line, and let's have this impromptu match. Maybe that could have saved it, but it didn't. Mercedes Moné, guys, and I kid you not, disrespected Kris Statlander that she literally got out of the ring.
Fuck that AEW Women's Championship belt anymore. That's it.
There you go. And optically, Vet,
trashed.
I told you this on previous Wreckages. Go over the stats, Hami Nights. But when since Mercedes been the TBS champion, she has been the headliner of the women's 100%. Matches on pay-per-view matches more than the women's championship. But neither here nor there. She kicks her out. She wants an open challenge. Now, Vet, people were talking about Viva Von. Maybe she would answer the call. She wanted a women's champion from some other company. And guess who comes out? The interim
from Ring of Honor
television champion, and interim is the word, Mina Shirakawa. This match, Vet, is the worst of the Sasha Moné and Mina Shirakawa matches. They might have had a better match in Tokyo Dome and New Japan Strong or whatever the case may be, but this was the weakest match here. And we talked about this a long time ago, and I said that she never really cheats. Now Mercedes Moné is doing a little bit more shortcuts, which I applaud. I applaud her for doing that.
She should be.
She should be. Right? But now she's I guess Toni wants to have that in your mind that she's reaching that point that she's pulling out all the stops because she wants to beat Ultimo Dragon's record, which By the way, Tony, no one cares but you. They didn't care in the Monday Night Wars, and they certainly don't care now. You're just stat padding Mercedes Moné.
Their fan base probably don't even know who Ultimate Dragon was and how many bouts he held during WCW days of '97.
Probably not, but the match, I'll abbreviate it. It was sloppy, and Mercedes cheated to win to get her, I believe, 11th belt. Now she's 11 belts Monet, or maybe 12 belts Monet if you want to count the Owen Hart Championship. So Vet, we trying to abbreviate 2 matches, but again, the point is, ever since Mercedes Moné has came into AEW, I wanted to save it for here. The AEW's women's division has been devalued because of what she's doing. Yes, they wanted to take the record away from Jay Cargill. I get Tony Khan's motivation and reasoning. I don't know why. And she's done that. But in the process, what happened to the loss that she had against Toni Storm? It didn't validate nothing. It meant nothing. So now that AEW women's title means nothing. And then optically, she's killed the AEW women's division. And I'm not being a Sasha Moné hater, guys. I'm not trying to be. But you're collecting all these belts for no reason. And I see it, Vet. They want to do Mercedes against Kris Statlander, belt for belt, so she could get that 13th belt.
100%.
I don't see Kris Statlander. Even if Kris Statlander wins against Sasha Moné, does that make her the woman of wrestling? No, because they've messed up.
She was made to look like a chump, bro.
Right. She already lost 3 times. It's almost like it's like a backwards Mark Briscoe right now. She's the backwards Mark Briscoe trying to get validation. She can't even get validation right now, Vet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I rambled. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right, man.
Save us, Vet. Save us.
What I'm hearing is we now have 11 belts money.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. I mean, come on.
That's all I care about.
That. Come on.
Fuck the women's division. Fuck Kris Statlander. Fuck Toni Storm. Fuck all of them. She's got 11 belts. Suck it, Ultimo Dragon. That's the only thing that matters. She could come in here, suck out all the resources like a parasite, and just leave everybody in a desert for all I care. She's the CEO. Who are you to question the CEO?
That's perfect, man. As Tia Cooper says, Vet is priceless. Absolutely. Everyone's popping for that, Vet. And 11.
I'll take $500,000. I mean, if the Young Bucks ain't gonna steal it, and Luchasaurus is gonna pocket $10K, I'll say I got that kind of a price. But
well, like this says, 11 more months before I watch AEW again. Yay! There we go. Anyway, that was that. You know, Moné is your AEW women's division killer. Literally.
One thing, Jimmy. Let's just put a bow on this, Vet. So Mercedes Sasha Moné has really ignited this women's division. Everything you see is great.
Absolutely, come on,
it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
This is the salt and pepper combination. That's great.
This is the perfect seasoning blend for me.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Because when it's a la carte, this is just the things you have to accept. You have to accept that things will never change. It wouldn't matter. Like, there's no amount of booking that's going to make everybody happy. So it doesn't even matter if you try to do this well. It's not Mercedes who, I don't know, she's not to blame for much of this. She's just there. So like, if she's able to be used in a way that's beneficial to her, and it seems to hurt everybody else, then that's unfortunate. But I don't think that's her intention. I don't think that she's hoping that that's going to be the result of it, because she's smart. Whatever you want to say about her, I believe. I don't know for a fact because I haven't met the young lady, but I believe that she's smart enough to at least know that if you do completely decimate everybody that you have to work with, then your success doesn't mean anything. But she's not booking all this stuff. So this is just what's happening. You know, gotcha. And she draws all the ire from the fans and everything, her haters. But she's really just there. I think she'd rather things be better, but she's not going to argue too much, because it's like, that hasn't worked for anybody else in this company.
Well, she's benefiting, so it is what it is.
She's definitely benefiting.
Yeah.
And guess what? She's the champion of Denmark, Norway, Iceland, or something. They said, heck, Antarctica. She's the champion of all that.
And Harlem. Don't forget Harlem World too.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Oh, he's frozen. So I got it.
You got it?
The next match is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships as Brodido of Bandido and Brody King defend those titles against the Don Callis family of Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. What I liked about this bet is the entrance, because again we see like the little Easter eggs. We know that what is coming in a couple of weeks, or hopefully a couple of months if the story is done right, between Okada and Omega. I mean Okada and Takeshita. So what I liked about it was the entrance was Don Callis coming down with Takeshita first, showing how he's proud of the new IWGP champion. Mm-hmm. And then when Okada's music comes out, you see Don Callis running back up the ramp to come and escort Okada. So he's trying to play it down the middle, just like Bill Alfonso in ECW days. So this went on for 27 minutes, flat, or maybe like a half hour, who knows? But again, this was getting close to like midnight stuff. So I was kind of like drowsy right now with this. But again, a lot of spots here and there. The psychology was that the Don Callis family of Okada and Takeshita was working on Bandido's, I think, shoulders. I think they were playing off that shoulder injury and stuff like that. And I think Bandido's son was in the front row, so he was cheering on his dad.
Did he have a mask?
Yes, he did. He had a mask on too.
Perfect.
And I think during this match, they were trying to do their Macarena dance. And then, of course, Okada and Takeshita stopped that from happening and all that stuff. But here's where it gets tricky. During this match there was supposed to be a finisher spot with Okada and Takeshita to take out Bandido. But of course, with the psychology, what's going to happen, Bandido moves out of the way. Okada hits the Rainmaker clothesline on Takeshita. Takeshita goes out of the ring. It's a oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did this. Did you think we get that? No, we didn't get that. We got Okada smiling that he did the Rainmaker clothesline and it hit Takeshita. So after all that stuff, Brodido finds, overcomes all the odds and they get the win, they get the victory, and Bandido pins Okada, and that makes it prevalent because now Tony Khan, being that matchmaker like you talked about, said, oh my God, we got a book for this coming Wednesday, Dynamite. It's got to be Bandido against Okada for the unified championship. So again, it was lots of spots, good physical match. I like, again, the heat between Okada and Takeshita, they're playing off. We know where they're going with the future of that. So what say you, Vet, about that?
So that's actually interesting because
oh, and by the way, Vet, after all the smoke is clear with Bandido's son in the ring, they all did the Macarena. Brodido did a Macarena. They got it off.
Oh, nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say the Don Callis family all flooded the ring and kicked the shit out of his son, but damn.
No, they didn't.
All right. Well, anyway, so it's interesting because the stipulation of, who gets a shot at who was carried over from the previous week, how we got this match, where it was like whoever wins in this double Jeopardy eliminator match, if the tag team champions beat Okada or Takeshita, then they get a shot at Okada's title. However, if Takeshita and Okada win, they get a shot at the tag team titles. So they obviously won that, which brings us here. But yet it seems like we still carry the stipulation of belt of belt for belt. So the continuity with that is interesting. I like the idea of Okada being the smartest, best professional wrestler, of not doing the stupid thing of like you said, oh, I'm sorry I hit you. No, I'm not sorry. That's just how he's different and he's the best. Now,
will they play off that jealousy of Takeshita holding that IWGP championship? I mean, Okada made it famous. He was 7-time champion, 2,000 days, and now he's looking at this young whippersnapper, he's trying to come for his throat. He's trying to come for his legacy to a degree. So it's great storytelling if you want to tell it on TV.
Right. It's definitely interesting, and we're gonna see how they end up. How do you end up doing that? You have a heel match, and one of the heels is the babyface, kind of, I guess, but like they never really don't like Okada, so they're kind of both the babyface, which it's just such a bizarre booking, but at the same time, there's not enough bizarre stuff out there. It's always the same tired bullshit. So I'm glad that they're doing things differently here. It is intriguing. I just don't like Takeshita. I just don't care. But they're gonna force him, like for the 50th time I've said this show, that force it down our throats. You don't even have to type pause because I know exactly what I'm saying. It's not an accident. So that is that's interesting. But the other thing that's interesting I find is that Bandido, who is hurt, just continues to work and now is getting more matches as a result. You would think it'd be the time to get the belts off of him, let him, heal up a bit, just for a little while.
But I find it funny with Bandido how every other title, the tag team titles, and now this upcoming Dynamite match for the unified title means much more than the title. He is the ROH heavyweight champion, unless he lost it. I'm not a Ring of Honor club member.
No, he is. He
is. Okay, so that world heavyweight title means nothing, but that unified title means everything. I'm just the opposite.
Yeah. Does he even carry that belt?
Yeah, he does.
On AEW TV.
He does.
He does.
Okay, well, that's good. Because I don't even notice. So
neither have I. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I guess I'd have to pay attention when he's on the screen, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens in the future, but I do think it for as much as there's like 75% of this match or 75% of these people I don't give a shit about. It's nice that they're doing some intriguing stuff with it.
Yeah, but do you feel like Takeshita and Okada losing, was all right? I would have rather them winning and still sort of beefing.
That's just one of two options, and you could make either one work. So we'll see what they do with the option they chose.
I am intrigued, though, for sure.
Well, I think we should move on because, again, we got 2 more matches, and people are going to start, getting carpal tunnel, and they're going to start getting drowsy, Jimmy.
These two last matches, for real. Well, the next match is your AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. It is Hangman Adam Page, your champion, of course, versus Samoa Joe. Prof, go ahead. Talk about this match first, please.
Well, we got here because, Hangperson Page dropped the belt, the trios belt, on Samoa Joe's feet, and Samoa Joe did not like that. So, That's true. Course, Samoa Joe reminds Hangperson Adam Page that you've never beat me, which I really didn't care even before that. I never kept stats on, Hangperson against Samoa Joe matches. So this is where we are. So the match is what it is. It's very physical and stuff like that. I guess the ending is what we're going to talk about because it took 3 Hangperson clotheslines to take down Samoa Joe finally for the 1, 2, and 3. So we get to the point where the ops comes down, and it looked like, Samoa Joe had that look like, I'm not going to do my John Cena retirement tour. I'm going to say like AJ Styles is my retirement tour. They hugged, they kissed, and all that stuff. But then Samoa Joe said, fuck it. He does a Mark Henry and clotheslines the shit out of Hangperson at Adam Page. And now the ops has turned heel within like 3 seconds. They all jump on Hangperson Adam Page. It doesn't matter now. The ops are heels. They beat down Hangperson, and Samoa Joe, I guess he just flipped because he lost to Hangperson Adam Page. He couldn't believe that he lost. And now this rectified them turning heel. That's basically
the heat
all
back. They used the heat back.
But I guess you could say optically, all the stuff they did for Hangperson at All In to help him become the AEW champion, now they rescind it and they want all the receipts back. That's the way it felt like mafia interest, coming back.
Buyer's remorse.
Buyer's remorse. It is what it is on that.
Yeah. Well, you can't take it back now. It's too late. You
Is this
should have beat him
company-
in the match.
Yeah.
Took the belt.
I'm sure they're going to have another match for sure. It's going to lead to
Oh
another
God,
one. But
please.
you know it is. I mean, come on.
God damn it.
No,
But let's be honest,
I
man.
want Shibata to get the shot against Hank Person. It has to be.
That I'm intrigued to see with Shibata being a heel now, though. I think would be funny to see what happens. But in saying that, I like what Josh says. Hobbs should be the next challenger. But I don't like that we have all these heels now, man. There's way too many heels in this company. Like, what's the obsession?
We lose all our baby faces and we need to build more heels, I guess.
But is this for Hangman to become the ultimate babyface? That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, everybody seems to say he's the best AEW champion, and his promos are the best also. Don't forget that.
And remember, Tony Schiavone, Jimmy, reminded us he is the best world champion that they've got in AEW.
Roll my eyes every time. But yeah, whatever. It is. Well, it's the road to redemption for Hangman, I guess. Again.
I can't believe that because Ospreay and Swerve are injured, that Tony Khan has got to go to ChatGPT and do all this alternate pivot booking. So
this feels like ChatGPT, though. Actually, Prof, it's really a mess, dude. It's kind of very messy. You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. It's very random. Look at the placements of all the matches. If you're telling me that's not AI, I don't know what is. Really?
I really don't. But we must get to the main event, supposedly. But here's the problem with the main event, Vet, because, again, this is technically it's supposed to be, we have no responsibility. But, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they say that? I don't think Jimmy, even no, remember how this is supposed to be non-sanctioned and all that stuff. Was it non-sanctioned?
No, they didn't say
that.
Did
the lights go down and come back on?
No,
they
didn't.
did.
Well,
actually, they did during the match.
Okay. During the match,
remember, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
It's.
But
wait for that.
We get to the supposed true main event, and that's the I Quit match between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. And this was not ChatGPT. This was all from the mind of Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. I give all praises to them to coming up with all this stuff. So, Jimmy, I forget a lot of the let's say the Outlaw Mud Show shit, but I remember Jon Moxley taking a stick and putting it in Darby Allin's fingernails and trying to pop out his fingernails. That's one of the spots. I know that there's a bunch of chair shots.
We had gas, a lot of gas.
We had almost flame-throwing spot. Where Darby Allin had a bag full of New Jack shit. It was full of lighter fluid and shit.
The ring was a mess.
I was looking for a 39 Glock or whatever the case, or 45 Glock and shit like that, but they didn't have that. But Jimmy, Vet, I kid you not, because again, when we get to this I Quit match, of course you know that they'll come out Claudio. Claudio did a spot with Darby Allin, throwing him to the timekeeper's table and stuff like that. Jon Moxley did a paradigm shift suplex onto tables. But there's one spot that's going to be infamous. Vet, I want to get your thoughts on this. They had a fish tank in the center of the AEW ring. They filled it with water, and Jon Moxley wanted to drown Darby Allin to say, I quit. I kid you not.
How's he going to say it?
Look what I've got.
He just said it. Jimmy, he just said, how's he going to say I quit if he's in the tank?
Glove.
That's good enough.
He said glove. That's I quit. Ring the bell, ref. That would have been good. That would have been a good out if they wanted to beat Darby Allin. Because he could say he never said it. And the referee could be like, well, I heard him say something under there. I was probably I quit.
He was gagging.
So when all is said and done, Vet, the lights go out because we feel like Darby has nobody to help him. And when the lights turn back on, it's Santa Claus. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's Sting with white hair
Santa Claus.
With white hair and white beard, saving Darby Allin, giving Darby Allin the bat. And after all this, Darby Allin makes Jon Moxley say, I quit. Not with a flamethrower, not with a 45
He's
gun.
The best pop, bro.
Not with an aquarium water torture, Vet. It was with the Scorpion Deathlock, the sharpshooter,
Bang!
made
Right
Jon
there.
Moxley say, "I quit." After 9 months of storytelling, after body bags, after attempted murder spots, all it took was a Scorpion Deathlock to make Jon Moxley say, "I quit." And Darby Allin gets and throws up the AEW flag saying, "We won, overcame all the odds."
Hugging it, kissing it, whatever he was doing to it.
Yeah, and he was hugging it and kissing it. So, like I said, Vet, weeks ago, that the story of Darby Allin, this should have been for the world title. All this garbage, you could say, and I know Vet is loving this garbage. This is the right amount of salt for garbage. This is the paprika for garbage, oregano for garbage. No. It's all the right amounts of this.
On fries?
Yeah, whatever. Pick your poison. Steak, fries, baked potatoes.
Yeah.
But Vet, all this supposed garbage booking, this was supposed to be Darby Allin's vindication to hold up not an AEW flag, but to really hold up that AEW title.
The belt hold, yes.
It was the belt. But Darby did not want that. He wanted to climb Mount Everest. It was more important. He doesn't want the prop. He doesn't want the prop of the belt.
He said it. He said on Ariel Hawani's podcast, man. Yeah, he doesn't want the championship.
So, Vet, basically, you remember All In, Vet, right? With Hang Person against Jon Moxley. Just close your eyes and kind of see this and just add an aquarium, a flamethrower, and tables. That's it. It's the same thing.
Lambert put it best. You drop the plate on the floor and you put it back, and the plate is served once again. That's what happened here.
Well, the interesting, funny part about that is I don't think I went back and watched that All In match either because I was also working. So I've managed to dodge these Jon Moxley matches, and thank goodness for it. Now, one question I have, was there a kendo stick?
Yes.
Well, then I would have had to disavow this, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Dude, those are everything practically. There's a lot of water, man, a lot.
Was that going to do it, though? Like, was he going to use that weapon that everybody uses every single week, no matter, regardless if they've ever if they ever had intentions of using a real life samurai katana or not? All those kendo sticks that we've seen, was that going to be the thing that made either one of these guys quit? Is my question. But
it was bad, really.
So and the other thing too about the Sting, it's like, yes, I suppose the Death Riders have no enemies in this company whatsoever. They definitely all needed to abandon Darby Allin and leave him to his fate. But
it was 2 against 100, and you know who won?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sting is worth at least 98 guys. So.
I think Bruce said this was an invasion angle that got lost in the sauce, which actually it started. Jon Moxley, for all the tested purposes, I don't want to harp on too much, because we've been over 2 hours with this. But Vet, the beginning of Jon Moxley and the Death Riders was he was trying to find some young people in AEW to come at Jon Moxley to prove to him that they had heart, that they had passion, as he had the passion for this company. Supposedly, this was the beginning.
That's what the storyline was supposed to be.
That was the beginnings of the Death Rider storyline.
Exactly.
I remember Private Party trying to answer the call. I remember Orange Cassidy trying to answer that call. I remember Jay White trying to answer that call. Even Hang Person trying to answer the call, and Will Ospreay and stuff like that. So now they pivot to where Jon Moxley just loves Darby Allin. This was all about Darby Allin.
Like obsessed.
And he was obsessed with, I think he just wanted Darby Allin to be in the Death Riders no matter what. He wanted, everybody else got into the Death Riders that he didn't care for. They just wanted to be part of it. But he is the only one that wanted Darby Allin in the Death Riders. And Darby, I think, Vet, with like the Lucha Underground that we saw, the Lucha Underground segment that we saw, is he trying to recruit Darby Allin, or is he trying to turn Darby Allin to the dark side? Dark Darby.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it the same thing in this case? I mean, whatever it is, you would think
Darby
that...
is Darby the soul of AEW? Is Darby trying to be the soul of AEW, the light of AEW, or is he trying to turn him into the dark side?
Might as well make him dark. Everyone else is. Why not?
I mean, he sort of is. He is dark, but he's not like. It's a different kind of dark.
It's like Devil May Cry dark, if you know what I mean. The game. What's his name? He's more like Dante or something.
I don't know, man. Talking about it like it's serious business is like kind of, it makes me feel stupid. But let's just say that, Darby Allin's, he's never going to work as a heel. So he's the perfect kind of person for this kind of a job because you feel like he fits right in with these guys. And that's exactly why he shouldn't be part of these guys. He has to be the one, the anti-hero, the one that stands up basically. In a sense, in a way,
in a $2 shop way though, if you know what I mean.
But whatever. This whole thing is crazy. Regardless of how it went off the rails, it's gone off the rails since a long time ago.
But where's all the vindication? Where's the private parties? Where's all the young AEW up and comers? Where is Dark Order to help Darby Allin in all this?
It doesn't because it doesn't mean anything because you made this melodramatic operatic storyline, but all you can do with it is have a wrestling match where somebody wins or loses. That's not high stakes enough for what you're talking about. You've attempted multiple murders. You've committed multiple kidnappings. Tony Khan is nowhere to be found whenever these guys get to have their way, but he's going to force the Acclaim to team up together. Like it just doesn't, like there's no consistency in any of this. And all Jon Moxley did was say he quits, but whatever, he's going to be on Dynamite. It's not going to change a fucking thing.
Like nothing happened.
So that's why wrestling doesn't work for this high concept of stuff, right? Like this bullshit is too cinematic. It's too melodramatic. It's too soap operatic. It's too much for just a simple, it's sports. Right. It's just sports, right? Like if somebody kidnaps, if somebody kidnaps Taylor Swift and threatens to burn her alive, right? Like if I don't know if Jalen Hurts kidnaps Taylor Swift, do you think that Travis Kelce catching a game-winning touchdown against the Eagles in the Super Bowl is going to make up for the fact that he kidnapped your fucking fiance? It doesn't work like that, bro.
No, it does. It does. When you hold the Lombardi trophy, it's all worth it.
It all goes away, right?
Right. And facetiousness aside, that's what we're talking about. When you try to make pro wrestling more than what it is, then you end up dissatisfied with any conclusion that you come to. Nobody was going to be happy about the way any of this resolved. There's no way you can write a storyline with the Death Riders that would be satisfactory and interesting for a long period of time that could come to a conclusion at all. Everybody would rip it apart because it's too stupid for wrestling. And that's saying something. So just making wrestling simple and enjoyable. WWE has got a long way to go, but one thing they've done is they've simplified it to the bare essence of this is a live event business. When you come to our live event, you will have a good time. Whether the people at home watching TV have a good time or not, when you're in that building, you'll be having fun. You will be singing. You'll be dancing in the aisles. You'll be buying merch and going home happy. That's what you're going to do here. We're not trying to tell you that somebody's going to get murdered tonight or, set on fire or kidnapped or any of that stuff, even though it's all happened in WWE before. But we're done with that now. We've simplified it. We've got it back to half-ass sports. So that's a good start. And they're doing good business right now. They may be inflating the good business that they're doing. They may be able to fudge the numbers out of context and say all these things about profits and whatever. But the truth is what they've done is they boiled wrestling back down to the essence of sports. And they're trying to go with that, right? A lot less dumb comedy, a lot less necrophilia, a lot less of all the stupid shit that they did 20 years ago, right? To appease a certain sick fuck, right? But AEW is trying to hotshot the hottest of hotshots, the worst things that ECW's done to the extreme.
Way worse, bro.
So they're doing all this, but at the end of the day, all you get, like the professor said, is a sharpshooter. Sorry. Nobody's going to be happy with that. Everybody's going to be like, what?
Where's the psychology in that, though? That's what drives me nuts, man.
There's none. And but there is no psychology that you could come up with. You painted yourself into a corner, and now you're stuck, and there's no way out. You're going to get paint all over yourself, and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Right. The
absolutely.
only validation, Jimmy and Vet, for me for this match, even if you wanted to do like a chokehold with maybe like a chain around Darby's arms and stuff like that, and Moxley doesn't have to say I quit. He's just out, and then you do the old UFC rule. He can't continue. It's the referee's discretion. You save John Moxley from saying I quit because it's a moot point, and you can still validate Darby's win with a kind of an attempted murder type of move. I can handle that with a chokehold with a chain around it. Optically, it's right there.
Right. Well, here's how you get out of it. Here's how you get out of it. You can end the whole thing with one night. Okay. I'm not even joking now. I know it sounds like I'm about to set up a punchline, but I'm being dead serious.
Okay.
Since you've already been this dumb with everything, the way you get out of this is when Sting comes out, you have Sting hold the bat against Renee and make John Moxley quit that way. And now he has to rethink his entire life because he can't keep doing this. Now it's crossed over a line that even he can't cross. I'm not proud of myself for coming up with this, but I'm just saying, like, this would end the whole thing. This is how you get out of the Death Riders. This is how you get back to normalcy. This is how you explain with some reason and sensibility, like, what could possibly get John Moxley to stop being a fucking asshole? Like, okay, this shit is real now. I can't do this anymore. She's not going to let me do this anymore. We got a family. Got to rethink this. Come back. Reinvented John Moxley. Death Riders all go their separate ways. And then you make the storyline of how are we going to go our separate ways? What are we going to do now? This is stupid. What have we been doing? Are we completely insane? Like, this is supposed to be sports and wrestling. So
I want the Hamites to understand what Vet is saying, because Vet, I know you didn't watch the pre-show, but Renee actually addressed this match.
Yeah, I heard that.
She actually said certain things that you're saying to a degree. I don't know how far he wants to go with Darby and all that stuff. You actually said everything that Renee was actually using an Easter egg. So the way you're booking it, Vet, I applaud you, because that's the way it should have went, because you played the Renee card with
Sting. And you can turn babyface that way too.
There you go. I don't know if you want to go that far.
And no one's ever touched Renee.
Right.
Ever. Not in WWE, not here. So it would mean something.
And Sting would be the only one that you can understand him holding Renee to that point of, wait a minute, I got your wife here. What you want to do? I mean, you want to go sickly where he could be holding Renee's daughter and Renee together. Like, what you want to do? What you want to do, Mox? What you want to do?
Yeah. What about that way? What Zane says, if you want to do business, do the Sting thing with Marina, unless something bad happened and Roderick Strong can finally be serious.
There's no business in Marina Shafir and Roderick Strong. Get out of here. That's why you're on the sidelines, kid.
And that's it, Vet. And we went to dark after all that.
All right.
We're done.
Well,
we're done.
Looks like there's been enough talk.
Yeah. Well, insane. But that was brilliant. Just for the record, I'm going to tell you right now, Vet, I'm going to clip that. That's going to be clipped 100%. So that's get around, because
there's gonna be footage of me having to dignify this crap with a response. Oh,
well,
damn
it was a great actual answer.
He doesn't want to be tagged, Jimmy. You know this. He said this.
That was AI, Vet. I never said that. Don't check the tapes.
No, I'm being serious. I'm gonna clip that if you give me the okay.
Yeah, do what
to
you
do
want.
So. Thank you, man. Well, in saying that, Prof, since you're our guest, tell them where to find you and what you're up to and what's next for the Pro Wrestling Reflection.
How many nights? If you see the link right there underneath my name, you just follow that and subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Reflection YouTube channel, where we host the most nostalgic content out there and available on the Hami Media Group at podbean.com. We just dropped a very special What If episode. What if Brock Lesnar never left the WWE in 2004? So it was an interesting discussion between myself and the Tommy Wonder. So check that out and subscribe to my page, the Pro Wrestling Reflection on YouTube. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, as always. Vet, tell them what you're doing and what you're up to, even though everyone knows it's Opinion Haver everything.
That's right. Opinion Haver everywhere. And check out the Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray Hernandez. Check out the Impact Attack tomorrow night as we record this, as soon as Raw goes off the air. Impact Attack with Brandon. We're going to talk about TNA. So please join us for that. Check out the Wrestling with Reed Rogers. No episode this past week, but they should be back this Friday with a new Q&A at their concrete time of 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Check out Stevie Richards' show with a new episode every Friday. God knows there's been so many fan questions. They've had to do a 2-parter. Will they make it a 17-parter? Who knows? But check out the Steve Richards show every Friday, and check out Limpin' Ain't Easy. Timmy Baltimore 2-part episode with ODB Boom up on the channel now, part 1 and 2, and look forward to a new episode, I believe, on Wednesday. That's it for me.
And just once again, check out the Pro Wrestling Reflection. Like you said, Prof, what happens if Lesnar actually didn't leave WWE in 2004? I just had to show it because I didn't realize we had it right there and it was there, so that's cool. But as far as I go, all I'm going to say is like and subscribe right here as it come up on the screen on Hammy Media Group's YouTube channel. We appreciate it once again because the numbers are up. We're up to 1,900 now subscribers. Keeps going up every month, so we appreciate you all. And of course, please just share it out there. Give it more likes. Tell your friends. Do everything possible to get us out there. And that's about it for me. Other than if you want to find me, you can at the PWC Network. In saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And that is the magnanimous, the glorious, the Professor Chabelo Vera Cruz. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage.
live on Hammy Media Group's live on Hammy Media Group's YouTube channel. And of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Till next time, peace out and see yous.